What up, people? We are live on this Halloween night. A lot of people, unfortunately, are not able to go out this evening due to the craziness that's going on in the world. So we're going to spend this evening just chilling together. Normally, even me on Halloween night, I'd be handing out candy to the kids, wearing a Bumblebee or Optimus Prime helmet, usually scaring them away. But it's just not in the cards for 2020, I guess. So we are here today to just hang out and chill, talk about Transformers and some of the stuff that was revealed over the past couple of days. You know, and maybe we'll do a giveaway. We'll do another giveaway sponsored by Hasbro and Symbiote Studios. And maybe I'll even talk about interesting trade that I had today, too. Favorite Halloween movies? I don't really have any. You know what's funny? My very first job that I ever had was I worked under the table at a video store. It was really cool. Like, there was this local video store that was across the street from where I lived, where me and Wendell lived. I was around, I want to say I was like 10 years old. And the store owner was really cool, and I used to always go there to rent my Nintendo games and play the arcade at the back. And he needed extra help, and I offered to, essentially work for him. And it was a super, super easy job. It was pretty much when people returned the movies, I just put the buttons back and that was it. Very simple job. And once in a while, like if a new movie came in, I'd have to like do the sticker and everything. It was a very simple job, and I got paid, no joke, $5 a week. $5 a week. But it was under the table, and when you're 10 years old, $5 is a lot of money, especially back then. God, what year was that? Definitely a long time ago. It was early 90s. But when I worked there, long story short, I went off on a tangent there, but when I worked there, one of the perks was I get to rent whatever I want at the end of the day. Just when they were about to close for the day, I was allowed to rent whatever I wanted for free because it didn't cost them money because they were closing anyhow, and I'd come back the next day to return it. So I'd rent a new movie every single day. And there was a point where I just started like plowing through horror movies, like just all the Friday the 13th, all the Freddy movies, all the Halloweens, all the Poltergeist, like what was available at the time. And I don't know. I just didn't really have a favorite. Like, I guess you could kind of count the Evil Dead series. Those were kind of like, I liked those ones, but those also kind of lean on comedy a little bit. Some of the Jason movies were cool. Some of the Friday the 13th. The later ones I oddly enough enjoyed more than the early ones. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy was never cool to me. I don't know why. Never found him funny. If you want to count a Halloween movie, though, I actually like a lot Nightmare Before Christmas. Both me and my sister loved that movie. And that's kind of like a Halloween meets Christmas movie. Really like that one. But not really many that I enjoy. Not really many. But yeah, that's kind of my favorite Halloween movie. I saw The Thing. I remember as a kid, it had a lot of those like surprise moments, like you didn't expect. Like, I don't want to spoil, but like the guy when he does does the paddles on the dude. I don't want to spoil. But that was one of those movies too. It was just kind of like, I don't know, like horror never really scared me that much. Like you'd get like the jump scare stuff. But then after you like plow through so many of them, you kind of see the jump scares happening. And you have to understand too, this is like early horror back in the day. Now like every trope is like so planned out and everything. It's so boring. Friday Part 6. Which one was that? Was that Jason in New York? Because I don't know the numbers. I just know like the subtitles. Because there was like 1, 2, 3. And then there was Jason Returns. And then there's Jason in New York. And then there was Jason Goes to Hell. And then I'm trying to remember like the names. But again, it's hard to remember a lot of those. Yeah, Sean Connery passed away. My friend commented this morning about that. He was a big fan of the James Bond movies of Sean Connery. You know what's funny? I associate more like Sean Connery with Indiana Jones and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen more than even James Bond. Even though, yeah, he was totally James Bond for a lot of people, but for me growing up, that's kind of like the first times I encountered him. It was like old man Sean Connery. So, Jason Takes Manhattan, not New York. There you go. Well, Manhattan's in New York, but yeah, something like that. It's been so many years. I haven't seen those movies in forever. It's been so long. And then what was the other one? Jason X. Yeah, that was the futuristic one. That didn't come out when I was working at the video store. I finished working at that video store back in, I want to say, 1995. I stopped working there because that's when I started going to high school, and I didn't have time to get back in time to work there because my grade school, when I was working there, imagine I was working in grade school back in the day. My grade school was really close to the video store, so I was able to like finish school at 3, go work there, finish at 8 o'clock, go home, play some video games. I didn't do my homework. I wasn't a homework kind of kid. Worked out for me in the end, but I mean, I'm giving some terrible advice, but I wasn't a homework kind of kid. I know I always retain the information, so I'm amazed how far I got not doing homework. But yeah, good times. So I also had, and I think David Cabal is going to appreciate this. So I met with a guy today, and I had this like listing. I was selling a whole bunch of stuff, and it was all like weird 90s toys and everything that I was selling. And in that list of stuff that I was selling, I had like this weird Italian, I don't know if anyone knows what Gromiti is. It's like kind of like the non-spiritual successor to Battle Beasts, but not really. Gromiti. And so I had a whole bunch of Gromiti stuff for sale, and this guy contacted me, and he really wanted them, and I was asking like $40-50 because it was a lot of them. And he was like, when could you meet and everything? And I was like, because it's the big V, it's, the times are in. I'm like, whoa, bro, like, I can't, like, we have to wait until like all this stuff is over. And he's like, oh, okay, I understand. And that was it, right? What's up, Larry? And then the guy contacts me back, and he's like, are you willing to trade? And I'm always willing to trade if it's something that's really interesting. And I was like, well, what do you got? And he's like, do you collect trading cards? And I'm like, well, that really depends. Because, if it's like hockey cards, forget about it, right? Or sports cards in general. Like, I have hockey cards. Everything that I want that's hockey card related, I got when I was like 9 years old. But no, he's like, it's a lot of non-sports card stuff. And he's like, it's all from like the late 80s, early 90s. And I was like, right away, I'm like, ooh, he's going into my zone, And I was like, well, what do you have? He's like, I have so much, I don't even know where to start. Why don't you come and take a look at it? And here's me like, oh my God, it's in the middle of like, the big V. Now I have to go to this guy's house and go through his garage and look at all of his stuff. We both wore masks. Everything was like that. And I'm so glad that I did. It was just one long box after another of these, all labeled with what was inside them. And it was just like either full sets or doubles or anything. And it was all like late 80s, early 90s non-sports card stuff. And I was like, here I am with this like $40 worth of like Gromiti figures, and he had like no value to any of this stuff. And I start seeing boxes labeled like this. Jeffrey was his son, by the way. I have so many of those. And he was like, I don't know, like, it's $40 for the trade, so why don't you just take like 40 boxes of stuff? And I was like, really? Ooh, okay. And so this is crazy. So this is the 1988 G.I. Joe card series, which is like, there's just tons of doubles and triples and quadruples. Like, I don't even know if there's a full set, but I mean, it's pretty crazy. So like, who do I pull out here? I pulled out Blocker. And it's like, it's profiles and stuff like that. So that was one. And then there was a whole bunch of them that are Marvel superhero cards, Magic the Gathering, which I have to really go through that one. What else was there? There was DC superhero stuff. There was Batman stuff. So to me, 40 boxes of this stuff for some Grow midis that cost me literally nothing because I bought them when Zellers was going out of business, which kind of gives you an idea of how long ago that was. Whole bunch of stuff. No Transformers, unfortunately. Their Transformers only had one kind of like cards back in the 80s and 90s, and that was too early for his son. His son was like a late 90s. I have like so many boxes. Like there's so many. And I'm going to just kind of like go through them all and see what's here. But I think it was a fair trade. I think, no joke, those Grow midis, no joke, probably cost me like $7 or something. Because I remember like Zellers, which was this, picture Target, but Canada. It was going out of business. And pretty much like I just picked those up and I was like, oh, maybe someone will want these one day. You know, they're so cheap. It was the big play set with the little figures, the tree trunk play set. Yeah, there was Marvel too. There was tons of Marvel. There was Marvel Masterpiece. There was the X-Men Fleer stuff. There was Marvel Series 3 onward. There was the Spider-Man series. I think it was Series 1 and 2 that I took. Everything was like listed. Like, it was all listed. I'm like, here, let me grab the other one. See here, I always say I don't want to get out of my chair, but let me grab one of the other ones. So many. They're all dusty. They're so dusty, too. So this one's here. See, Jeffrey, superhero cards. And then when you open it, it's like it's all kind of separated and stuff. So what's this one? These ones are, these are Marvel Series 4. These were done by Skybox back in the day. And then if you, like, see, jump ahead here. These were Marvel Masterpieces. This is Series 2, I want to say. This was like 93. So just imagine 40 boxes of this. And he had like tons of sports cards, but most of those, unfortunately, are not worth anything. A lot of those aren't worth anything, unfortunately. Like you could take like, who was the best rookie of the 90s? Maybe Eric Lindros of hockey cards, let's say. 4 for $1 if they're not graded. So it was worth it, though. It was definitely worth it. You know, $7 of Grow mini. Like, I know I'm going to find something in there I'm going to like. You know, David Cabal in the chat here knows I love Dusty from G.I. Joe. Trust me, when I opened up those G.I. Joe cards right away, I was like, is there a Dusty? I was like, oh, there is. There's like a whole bunch. So I grabbed it just for that, if anything. You know. It'll be fun. I'm going to try to make I'm trying to see if I can make like a few sets of the G.I. Joe ones, and that'd be cool because then I can like bring them to TFCon and sell in the future. The Magic cards were late 90s, so we're not talking Alpha Beta, we're not talking Unlimited, we're not talking Revised, we're not talking Arabian Nights, we're not talking The Dark, we're not talking, you know, Ice Age. I was hoping there was some alliance, maybe get a Force of Will or something. It's more Urza Saga and stuff like that. There is some stuff probably of value. I haven't gone through it yet, but again, for a trade for a $7 item, I'm pretty sure there's some good stuff. I'm pretty sure. Because I know my Magic cards. Like, let me just blow everyone's minds right here. Where are you? You know? One sec. So, trust me, I know my Magic cards. But that wasn't part of the collection. It's just I pulled out some of my Magic stuff to kind of make sense of everything because I'm going to get around to sorting that when I have time. I would have probably done it tonight, actually. I would have probably done it tonight if Halloween would have probably still happened for the kiddies. Would you consider the G1 UK Marvel Comics important lore-wise? Oh, yeah. A lot of really good stuff happened in those UK books. That was some of Simon Furman's really good stuff. You think that the Lockdown will appear in Kingdom as repaints or the original? Oh, Lockdown will appear in Kingdom as a repaint. Lockdown's definitely due for a new toy, but I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that. Yeah, Gaia's Cradle. I don't know if that's in there. I didn't really go through everything yet, but I mean, it was one of those things that usually you would go through it all before you would make the deal, but there was so much, like there was 2 long boxes of Magic. I just kind of flipped through just to get an idea of year and era, and I was just going like, you know, even if this was all garbage, like all commons and garbage stuff, it's still worth it. It would still be worth it. So it's one of those things that it doesn't make a difference to me. I'll still feel it was worth the time and everything because the trade was nothing. So, and here I am with my mask, and the mask that I wear is one of those like K93 masks, which are like they're super like sucked around the face. I get them from work because we use them for like when we do rust proofing and stuff. I don't do rust proofing, but the rust proofing area of work does that. So they're really good masks, but you can't breathe in those, man. So. Do you think Slitherfang will be reused as a GI Joe Cobra toy? I don't know about that. I you know what? If the JoeCon was still happening with Fun Publication, considering at the time they had stuff going on with Hasbro with the Transformer brand also, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have done some kind of GI Joe exclusive with JoeCon back in the day with Slitherfang, for sure. What's up, Steven? But yeah. For sure. Just a lazy Saturday. It is Saturday, right? What day is it today? Saturday, yeah. Don't even know anymore. Don't even know. Just can't, it sucks. Like, what do you think of Battlegrounds? I haven't played it yet. I've watched tons of videos on it. It looks like Final Fantasy Tactics, aka, Fire Emblem, turn-based strategy kind of thing going on, and with Transformers. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. If you're just taking a genre that I already played many times, and I would play them in genres that I'd play that genre in something that wasn't based on a brand I enjoyed, and I would enjoy it. So if I'm pretty sure it'll be fun. It has the original voice actors. There is some kind of story, so it should be a fun little play. I read online it's not very difficult. It's a pretty simple game. So I'm sure it'll be fun. It's kind of like when they did the Transformers animated game for the Nintendo DS, and they pretty much based that game off of an old Interplay game called The Lost Vikings. Like, it's literally, you took the game The Lost Vikings and you just gave it a Transformer skin on it. And I was like, hey, I love The Lost Vikings. That was a cool Super Nintendo game back in the day. So do a Transformer version. I'm down for that. What genre of Transformer game are you looking for? Well, I liked what War for Cybertron was doing. I think that was probably the best fit. That really was the best fit for everything. As a kid, did you buy your Halloween costumes or you home make? I did a segment about that. The Halloween special that I did with Wendell. Check it out. We talked about our entire childhood with Halloween costumes and everything. So definitely check that out. Me and Jaws D went back and forth like crazy. All the fun stuff like during our childhood, going out and getting candy from the rich people. What's up, Crimson? Slitherfang repaint as Toxin. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. That would be, man, that'd be so awesome. Like, they just started now bringing back that Chrome Dome mold because they're doing that Headmasters like reissue Titans thing. Like, take that Headmaster Chrome Dome, package it with the Toxin, figure out something. That'd be so cool. That would be so cool. Yeah, I saw Walmart. I saw the RED stuff. What's funny? Like, I saw it and I was holding it and I was just like, man, it is just not feeling it. What will be restocked from Hasbro Pulse? Well, the pit of the Quintessons, Pit of Judgment, was just restocked. It was put up. So anyone that paid those scalper prices are feeling it now. According to what I read online, Hasbro said they have 50,000 units of it. So it'll be just fine. I don't think that's going to sell out anytime soon. So that's pretty cool. Do you think the next Transformer toy line will be called Fall of Cybertron since one was called War for Cybertron? No, I don't think that would be the logic. I think the only reason why they would call it Fall of Cybertron is if they wanted to keep a trademark, but I don't think Fall of Cybertron is a trademark they want to chase pretty much, or keep anymore. It's kind of like, you know, why did we have a line called Energon instead of calling it by its Japanese name? Why was it called Cybertron instead of Galaxy Force? They just wanted to find a way to keep those trademarks. Got to keep that Cybertron trademark. What do we do? You know, got to throw it on something. What do you think will be in Kingdom Wave 2? I think we kind of saw it. I think that RC is going to be part of Kingdom Wave 2. You know, also the new fossilizer that we saw in Ractonite. I think he's going to be part of Wave 2. I think we're going to see probably Dinobot, maybe Tigatron. You know, we shall see with that. About Hasbro Pulse, they automatically charge you for any pre-orders when you place the order and not when they ship it to you. Yep, that is something that Magic the Gathering players have complained about from Hasbro Pulse and their Wizard of the Coast division, because especially with them, like they'll have like an item that's like $300 and you pre-order it and the pre-order says it's going to like ship in like 7 months, and they take $300 up front and you wait for 7 months while they hold your $300. And it's crazy because they probably make so much money with that. They get that money up front and then they probably invest it or something. Who knows? It's crazy when you think about it. You know, usually, again, yeah, it makes sense. Like usually they'll ship it when they pretty much will take the money when they ship it. But in this case, they don't. Especially imagine if they had to cancel. Imagine they had to cancel an item. They have to refund all that money. Oh, they'd still make money, actually. Because, you know, when you think about it, right? Let's say they wait 6 months and then they realize they can't give you the product. They'll refund everyone their money, but they probably made money from having all that money all that time and investing. I wouldn't be surprised. It's like they're lending money pretty much. Do you think there'll be another Kingdom RC with that's a repaint of Black Arachnia? Oh, I've been seeing so many ideas. Some people are saying like it should be a repaint of a white repaint of the Rat Trap mold and make it his great aunt RC. I've seen like so much fan art of that. You know, Black Arachnia would be cool too, but again, you're thinking more like the Transmetal 2 design. So, do you like Tarn? I like Tarn. He was a pretty unique design. I liked his story pretty much, his whole origin. I don't want to spoil too much for people who didn't read the Mortal Meets the Eye books yet at this point. I think he's gonna one day get a toy. I think that the only thing that just stopped him from not getting a toy is because of his name. I think that if he would have been named Scavenger, like no joke, like if James Roberts and the crew just said, you know, we're going to call him Scavenger and that's it, I think we probably would have seen a toy of him a lot sooner. I think it's just because it's just Hasbro going like, oh, we got to trademark the name Tarn, and then we got to put it out there, and then we might not ever use that trademark again after we do that one release. I think that that's the only thing that's really stopping from an official Tarn toy happening. I've never paid up front on Hasbro Pulse. Well, Larry, because you are smart. Larry is a smart man. I think if we paid for premium accounts, they would stop pre-authorizing. Well, see, I can't be bothered with Hasbro Pulse just because the shipping is ridiculous. You know, like, it's crazy. Like, I was looking at some examples, right? Some items, when you buy it from Hasbro Pulse, like shipping for me in Canada is $40. And so, like, let's say I'm buying an $80 item, right? And shipping is $40. So that makes it $120 for the item, which is crazy. Or I buy it from a scalper, and I know this goes against everything that I've said about scalpers, but I buy it from a scalper for, let's say, $110, and shipping is $5. Like, it only becomes to, like, it's actually cheaper in some cases for me to buy it from a guy who's upselling and scalping it. It's crazy when you think about it. But I mean, you know what happens? It ends up on Hasbro Pulse, and then 90% of the time as a Canadian, it ends up like we have like EB Games, which is pretty much GameStop for you guys. It ends up at EB Games, and then I get it there with free shipping and everything. So I just take that route. Like, that's how, like, see, Bernstein said, like, did you get Gigawatt? That's how I got Gigawatt. Like, Gigawatt showed up on EB Games' website. Just got it from there. Plain and simple. A lot easier that way. Why doesn't Hasbro Pulse ship to Quebec? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I will show you right now. Because it has to have French. If instructions or anything don't have French on them, can't be shipped to Quebec. We have crazy, stupid language laws that I don't even want to get into because it always gets me heated. But we have stupid language laws that hold back a lot of things, let alone toys. So, it's a whole other animal. Larry knows what I'm talking about. A lot of people who are from Quebec that are listening today know exactly what I'm talking about. Is the audio quality good, guys? By the way, I just want to be sure. We're still trying to figure out this whole crazy system. I have like the chat on the side. I'm trying to figure out all the kinks with this, get everything figured out. So we're going to do a giveaway too, by the way. We're going to be doing a giveaway from Symbiote Studios and Hasbro. Again, Symbiote Studios, the guys responsible for the plush that we see, the amazing plush, the cool pins. When you buy the plush, you get a corresponding pin of the character that you bought. So that's pretty cool. Once again, here's the Bumblebee and his little pin and everything. And of course, also cool t-shirts. This is their Optimus Prime. They have Soundwave. They have more of the different designs coming. They have Snake Eyes for the Snake Eyes movie coming up. They have a whole bunch of other pins on their website. So we're going to be doing, yet again, another giveaway. And all it's going to be, this one's going to be easy. I'm just literally just going to ask a simple question. And one of my mods that are watching for this will just pick a winner. And you'll get a nice beefy gift certificate to buy from symbiotestudios.com. Go check them out, symbiotestudios.com. And if you don't win today, you also get a cool code from Protoman. So you get promo code Protoman. You get $5 off your first order from symbiotestudios.com. A lot of cool stuff that's going to be with them. But we'll do the giveaway later. I want to make sure everyone gets an opportunity. I think that the latest MP Starscream broke the bank for a lot of Transformer fans. You know what? Like, let me tell you something. When it comes to like breaking the bank, in all honesty, like I firmly believe that it was like Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, maybe even a little bit before that, maybe like Dinobot. I want to say Dinobot also, but like Dinobot 2 was kind of like, that's when they started to really go like, man, we could really like milk some people. Like really milk people, because I know Dinobot, like, what was his pre-order? What was he, like 220 or something? I remember he was a lot. I just remember that. And it was nuts. It was absolutely bonkers. And then because people paid for Dinobot, it kind of led to, oh, hey, maybe we could get people to pay this much for like G1 Megatron version 2.0. Maybe we could get people to pay, this much for Beast Wars Megatron. And then that kind of created that trend a little bit, unfortunately. But it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. Do you know Netflix second wave release? I don't know. I haven't seen that locally here. I've been trying to get Alita 1 for a while. I want to find her locally and pick it up, but I have yet to see anything. I know it was like on websites and stuff, so it's clearly out there, the stock. But we'll see with that. We'll see. I get a feeling she's going to be one of those characters I'm going to end up buying in the secondary market. I don't think I'm going to see her. But distribution's pretty weird right now for a lot of people. Some people have really good distribution if you're closer to distribution centers where you're located in the world, especially in North America. And some people, they just have terrible distribution because of, again, the big V and everything that's going on. So, but yeah. It is what it is, my friends. It is what it is. Got the Target exclusive G1 toy colored Reaction Megatron. Do you think I should keep it sealed or open it? Well, the secondary market on that Reaction stuff, even the weird variants. I know I collect some of those, like the Street Fighter ones and the Lord of Light and even the Transformer ones. I'll be honest, I love what Super 7 does, but I don't think they have like a collectability, like, long-term value. It really is kind of like a one and done kind of thing. It'll be popular and valuable in the moment, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think people will kind of move on from it. And I love what they do, don't get me wrong. I think they're great. But that's kind of what I see with the long term with their reaction stuff. Because I've seen already with their other reaction stuff from all the other brands that they have, they don't really have like a long term value. Because they're not like they're cool, they're interesting, they feed a need for a group of fans, but there's not enough of them to create like a market where there is a crazy secondary value for them. But yeah, I'm legit. All Toys R Us are in the 5 kilometers of distribution center. Yeah, well that's, it's that's pretty much the reality. Because like so many times we've had people in the chat where they go, oh my Walmart has nothing, and it's like, yeah, that's one example. Like there's how many Walmarts? 9,000 in the United States, I think last I checked. So there's gonna be one or two that kind of suck, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. It's really hard to stick to street dates right now with what's going on around the world. It's not the same. Like, even with Kingdom, it's like, oh, it's going to be, late December, early January, it's going to be hitting. And I'm like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I always say, let's wait until after November and see where the world is at that point. Have you ever heard about a Make-A-Wish trip that Peter Cullen went on with one of his fans? It happened a few years ago. That's cool. That's really cool that he did that. That's really cool. Peter's an awesome guy. Can't argue with a guy from Montreal. Peter's an awesome guy. When he was at TFCon and he did his big crazy panel, if you look carefully, Ian is the one hosting the panel and asking the questions, and you can see I'm like on the side. I was like one of the I don't want to say bodyguard, but liaisons with Peter Cullen. And he was a real awesome dude. Really, really cool. His agent, on the other hand, was a little more strict, but Peter was really cool. What's your favorite Transformer toy line ever? That's a tough one. I always fall on Beast Wars just because of everything that it did for Transformers, but I can't say it's my favorite of all time because there's so many cool ones too. Who's messaging me right now? So many people messaging me. It's a busy Saturday night. Busy, busy, busy. Do you think Takara will revisit Masterpiece Rodimus? I hope so. I hope so. You know what? The sad thing is that, they revisited Hot Rod and it wasn't good. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. So if they revisit Rodimus, they better go hard or go home. Like, they better, knock it out of the park. Otherwise, I don't know, man. It might just be a big waste of time and money. Yeah, I saw the Galvatron Sound Blaster Dr. Wu minifigs. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. If Shun Streaker was the first Takara pre-Transformer figure, who was the last pre-Transformer design? Technically, the Scramble City stuff. All the aerial bots and all that stuff was supposed to come out in Diaclone, but it just never got released, and ultimately it then became Transformer product. But that technically was some of the last stuff. You could actually find super, super early Superion, aerial bot, Diaclone kind of stuff. Like, there's images of the early prototypes and stuff like that online. That was technically the last. Of the released stuff, I would have to say probably the Dinobots, because in the Woderer story, they were the last ones released, if I remember correctly. Like T-Rex Robo, Triceratops Robo, I think those were the last ones. Because I remember the Woderos, transforming monster thingy, which didn't come out in Transformers, was part of that end of line of the car robot stuff. I've never really had to think about it, but I'm pretty sure that's it. I have a book, I'm looking at it right now. It's one of my Diaclone guidebooks. I'm pretty sure that was some of the last stuff on there. Imagine a parallel universe where Machine Wars was animated in cartoon form in the mid-90s or even G2. I was always hoping it back in the day that, you know, the KB Machine Wars was successful and they would spin off like a Transformer series done by Mainframe Entertainment. You know, like, and I always, back then, obviously it's different now, the canon, and Josh Burcham, you know, he kind of has his own vision, but I've always envisioned, you know, Machine Wars being that gap between like G2 and Beast Wars, and kind of hoping that that would explain, like, you know, where Optimus Prime is, where Megatron is, and some of those other characters. But wasn't meant to be. That line did not do well for KB. Everything went on clearance ridiculously fast. That's why, like, when BotCon did their KB Toys box set, excuse me, their Machine Wars box set, they even did the little thing where, like, it got the price slash on it back in the day. I love Machine Wars, though. Love Machine Wars. Fun little line, easy to collect. Only one of the toys suffer from GPS, so don't get Thundercracker. But a great line. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that G1s could hook up to Metroplex. Yep, scramble power. And considering some of those centerpieces of the combiners, the leaders, if you will, they all kind of had like a little bit of a base mode or a repair mode or something. It kind of like added as an extra base element for Metroplex's base mode too. I found out of all of those, I think Motomaster and what's his name, Silverbolt had like the best ones that looked the nicest. It had like the little road piece and everything. Really like that. But yeah, it's been pretty nutty. So what we're gonna do, we have a good amount of people now. We'll do a giveaway, and all we're gonna do, there's no wrong answer with this one. There's no wrong answer. So instead, I'm going to leave it to my mod who's listening to pick the one that he likes. So I don't even want to say who the mod is, because just in case if that somehow influences your answer. So it's Halloween. So let's go with, what is your favorite Halloween candy to get? That's it. Say what your favorite Halloween candy is. My mod is going to pick one. I'm just going to make sure I have the chat window open so I can see it. My mod's going to pick one, and we'll have a winner, and they will get a beautiful gift certificate for Hasbro Symbiote Studios. Get some cool Transformer product for free. And again, all you need, guys, by the way, email address, registered email address, registered Twitter account so you could contact me, and a registered address, like home address and stuff. It can't be a P.O. box. That's it. That is all. Just lay it on, guys. He's going to read through them all. Read through them all. But yeah. Yep. So again, make sure you have a Twitter account, guys. That's the one thing we just got to say. That is the one thing we have to emphasize. For show. But aside from that, just going to make sure he's checking them all. He's going to go through all of these. So just keep spamming them, and he's going to pick one that he likes. Oh, don't let this influence, but I love Fuzzy Peaches. Fuzzy Peach. That's my personal favorite. One of my favorites. I can't eat candy as much anymore. I like to stay fit as best I can, but back in the day I used to kill it with the candy. I could like sit down with, like, if you know what are they called there? Swedish berries? Oh my god. I could sit down with a whole pack of that. Or when Larry who's in the chat here, when he gets Twizzlers, I have to hold back. 2 Twizzlers has so much calories. It's absolutely nuts. I will destroy a bag of Twizzlers. Smarties. Nice. That's a Canadian one. Wait, Smarties, the Canadian one or the American one? There's actually a difference there with Smarties. Again, mod, don't let my talking influence the choices. Nerds. I love nerds too. I love getting Canadian rockets. See here, Canadian rockets are called Smarties in the States, And Smarties in Canada is a whole other different thing. Is that McDonald's Unicron I see in your display? Yes, it is. It is McDonald's Unicron. I have all of the UK exclusive ones. Pretty simple transformation. There we go. And he has the little Energon cube, which you could turn a light on and it would glow. But of course, 2003, so the batteries are dead since then. This was back in the day when how many Unicron toys we had? Like at this point, this was like the third Unicron toy, if you don't count like statues, I guess. Yeah, I have all of those dudes. Actually, behind it, if you look carefully, is the Galvatron. Or Megatron. Master Galvatron, Master Megatron. Happy Halloween, Joseph. Happy Halloween, my brother. On Amazon, Transformers War for Cybertron, Earthrise Prowl, and Ironhide 2-pack. Supposed to get on November 2020. Oof. At least that one's coming quickly. Some of them, it's like you're paying for it and you're not going to see it until like March. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Protoman, I heard that there is a history about a $300 animated Blitzwing. Yeah, I don't want to say who it is, but I'm pretty sure if you kind of do the research, it'll pop up maybe in the message boards back in the day. But there was a well-known YouTuber that still does YouTube reviews today that he really wanted to get the first review before everyone else of animated Blitzwing, and he actually paid, I think it was $400. I don't even think it was $300. I think it was $400. And I'll tell you this right now, as someone who was doing YouTube reviews even back in the day when it was really good, the money, you don't make $300 from a single video. You don't. You make $300 from multiple videos bringing in good traffic. Like, you could have one viral video that makes 1 million views. It doesn't mean anything. You need to have, like, multiple videos getting 1 million views. So, and now, like, YouTube revenue is a shell of what it used to be. It's, like, nothing now. You don't make anything. That's why so many YouTube reviewers rely on YouTube, like, creators, they rely on Patreon because they just can't get by. And even, like, the big guys now that you guys know, like, I mean, I don't want to say he's a good friend of mine. You guys could probably figure out who I'm talking about. But, like, he even told me, like, they don't make money off of the views or the likes. They have a set contract with a company, and that's how they make pretty much money, is that company guarantees them this amount of money every month, regardless of their traffic of their videos. So it's not easy now. It really isn't. I mean, the only reason why I do it is because it's not my day job. You know, if it was something that I had to rely on for income, I'd be in trouble. I do not know how the guys who don't make really good views, how they do it. I really don't. Like, there's some content creators and they're guys that I respect them, but I see their views that they put out a lot of content and they maybe make 100 views, 200 views. And I go, man, and that's their day job. And it's like, they're really just squeaking by, man. Found a prototype of Masterpiece Cheetor on eBay. Be careful with that, guys. Sometimes prototypes are not prototypes. Always look at country of origin and look at the person who's selling it. There is a lot of prototypes online. I could literally show you some of the crazy prototypes that they always talk about, but they're not real. I have a whole bunch of them myself. Protoman, do you think there will be the next G1 character MP released by Takara? They always keep saying that they're going to do Trailbreaker and Hoist. Like, I remember, let me show you this, guys. Here. So, when they were hyping, like, Jeep, think about it. When did this magazine come out? This was the guidebook. Where's the date on this? 2004, okay? This book is 2004, and they were hyping for 2004 Masterpiece Hound. We all know how that turned out. Took all those years for that to happen. Put that back. So, I don't know. They keep talking about Trailbreaker and Hoist. Trailbreaker and Hoist, those are going to be the next ones for the masterpieces. And there's still no sign of it. I attribute it to, again, everything that's going on in the world. You know, everything that's going on, that's probably what's slowing it down. Look, we had Raiden that was supposed to happen too. But, you know, all that got messed up. Would you say people aren't a rush to get reviews super early anymore? There still is. There still is a need for it. Like, I remember it was so embarrassing. I was doing a panel with Aaron Archer at TFCon one year, and I remember I turned to him afterwards at the bar, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry about that." And you know, we were fielding questions in relation to Armada and the development of Energon, and that's what we were kind of doing. And then someone asked a question. They said, "How do I make more views on my videos?" And totally unrelated to what the whole panel was supposed to be about. And I literally told them, like, you want to make easy views? Here's the simple solution. Get the toys early and get them first. That's it. Don't review old stuff. You can review old stuff when you have a huge following and it doesn't matter how the views are, but be first and be early. And that logic matters, because if you get a Kingdom Cheetor and you review it, think about it. When did that Kingdom Cheetor get reviewed? It was a while back, like maybe like a month ago. And you're the monopoly on that review for 3 months. Do you know how much traffic goes to your one video because no one else will be that review? Even if it's not something that you have the monopoly on, if it's a toy that just came out and it popped up in your area first, again, I don't want to name names, but I've seen reviewers that I know, someone will be like, "Oh wow, this figure, you know, it popped up in my area first," and then I'd see that reviewer message that person and go, "Hey, I will pay you to pick one up for me and ship it to me," just so they could get it as soon as possible. It's a cutthroat world, the YouTube toy reviewer thing, and it's just, I'm glad that it's not as crazy anymore. It's not as important. But it was nuts in like 2010, 2011. It was so nuts. Now it's just stolen toys, and it's like a small handful of guys that are... It's funny, it's like the toys get stolen, and it's just a small handful full of reviewers that are just selling the toys to each other so they could each do that review before it hits retail. And then when it hits retail, they're not going to care anymore at that point. It's kind of nutty. Are Japanese G1 cartoons worth watching? Yes and yes. The weakest of the bunch is probably Headmasters, and that's why it usually scares a lot of people away. The Headmasters cartoon, it's like the Japanese company Toei was like, ooh, I guess, you know, we're going to try to keep the same style and storytelling formula of what was done before with season 1, 2, and 3. And then when they were kind of able to get away from that and do their own art style and their own kind of Japanese storytelling, Master Force happened, Victory happened, Zone happened, and those are all great series. The only thing that I warn you is you're going to like them so much that you're going to want to buy the expensive toys related to them, and that's the only negative I could say. If you end up falling in love with Deathsaurus or Star Saber or Minerva or God Jinrai or whoever, you're going to end up going, oh no, now I got to buy these toys because I really like them, and it's going to cost you money. It is going to cost you. I don't know the story with Emgo, but I think he got that legit. He got it legit. He didn't have it stolen or anything. That was a sample that was sent to him legitimately from Hasbro. But no, more, excuse me, from Hasbro Pulse. But he's one of the few that had that one thing. I had the same thing too. I got a reviewer package for Age of Extinction. I still have the box and the letter to this day, and it had like a review embargo. If you go back, there's a YouTube review that I did. It was Protoman or Proto Retro for Age of Extinction Drift. And I had like the paper, it was a letter to me saying like, you know, here's the figures in advance and you can't review them until this certain date and stuff. But I kind of got out of that. And I still once in a while get sent stuff in the mail. I got, like, I don't know if anyone saw my tweet. Like, I got the My Little Pony one. And it was like the My Little Transformer pony from Hasbro. And I was like, yay, I guess. But yeah, some people still get stuff, but it's very rare now. Hasbro really wants to be the ones in charge of the reveals and to talk about the product. You know, if it's one of those things, because a lot of people, they used to always argue, like, oh, maybe those guys who were stealing the toys, maybe they were sent by Hasbro. Trust me, if they were sent by Hasbro, everything they would say about the toy in the review would be, like, sparkling. This is the greatest toy ever. You should totally go out and buy it. Like, it's very transparent, usually, with that kind of stuff. They wouldn't be swearing. They wouldn't be, like, you know, saying, oh, this is not good, or this feels cheap, or something. Usually it's a little more obvious. Master Force and Victory, as Protoman has stated, don't have any copyrights by Hasbro, so Hasbro doesn't care. Pretty much. At the time being, you know, if Hasbro had a copyright called Double Dealer, which they do, you'll see the character Double Clouder from Master Force get a toy. Just so happens to be a coincidence. You know? We had the Victory character Black Shadow get 2 toys here in America. Why? Because they had a trademark called Sky Shadow. Close enough. They felt it was worth it. If Wing Saber was still a thing, like the old Energon Wing Saber, and actually was used in Cybertron too, if it was still a trademark that they had, we might have saw maybe like more Star Saber-esque kind of toys and everything. Can you talk from your experience with Generation 1, favorite episode, characters? I fell in love with Transformers with Heavy Metal Wars. First, I've said this story many times. I saw the 86 movie. That was my first experience with Transformers. And then afterwards, coming home and asking my mother to record episodes of G1 for me. And by the time I really started watching G1, it was late into season 2 and going into season 3. Like one of the first Transformer episodes I ever saw was Starscream in King Arthur's Court, which was a season 2 episode. What was the one with Wheeljack and Red Alert? Oh my God. It was like a great like Wheeljack Red Alert episode. I forget the name of it. You know, those are like my earliest memories of the cartoon, but I saw the 86 movie before all of that. That really was like what got me into it. Yeah, and Sky Shadow was the Beast Wars Fusor Lizard before that. And after that, it was used for some repaints of Unicron Trilogy toys. So that name got used over and over. The weirdest name, though, Blackwing as opposed to Darkwing. Well, we know why with the Darkwing. Certain Disney trademark that I'm sure they cannot use. Let's just put it that way. Yet somehow they can't use Tailspin either. What's up with Earthrise Double Crosser getting Crossguard? Don't know. That's probably a trademark copyright reason. Ghost of Starscream, I never saw that episode back in the day. Like the season 3 episodes I saw way more of growing up, but there were less of them played because like season 1 and 2 had way more content. I'm really grateful for G2 because when G2 came out, they were re-airing all of those season 1 and season 2 episodes with the cybernetic space cube. So I was able to like see those episodes for the first time. And you have to understand also, back in like 1987, 1988, when I started really re-watching old G1, the VHSs were like non-existent in my video store. Like they never got those Transformer G1 video cassettes. The guy who ran that video store didn't even get the 86 movie on VHS. I would not see the VHS face to face until years later. I went to this like big box movie store in my area that opened up, and they were like the only ones that had the 86 movie, and I used to rent it like crazy. And this was already in high school in like 90, I want to say like 95, 96. So, for the longest time, you thought Starscream was a girl. Well, in one of the French dubs, he might as well be a girl. In the French dub of the 86 movie, Shrapnel was a female character named Mademoiselle Shrapnel. So if you want to add another female Transformer to the list, look up Shrapnel's history. Was a female in French. Mademoiselle Shrapnel. That's literally her name. Ladybird Shrapnel. I wonder what would a dedicated G2 cartoon be like. Probably like the G2 comic. Probably like the G2 comic. Very 90s, very extreme. When you think about what cartoons were around at that same time that G2 was airing, I'm pretty sure that would have been something like that. Ma'am Shrapnel. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Scrapnel. Yeah, in this case now. But yeah, look it up. You got a female Insecticon among you, and you didn't even know it. Do you think the 86 movie is the best TF movie? Well, that's a bias for me. I think so. I think the 86 movie will always be the best Transformer movie. Has the best music, is the most exciting, the stakes are high, people die, and it actually matters. You know, like, how many people cared when, like, you know, movie Ratchet died? It was kind of like, oh, that's kind of sad, I guess. You know, like, there's no stakes with those movies, really. You think we'll see a Masterpiece-style Power Rangers toy? I think so. I think that the Power Rangers Lightning Collection is going to evolve into more collector-oriented stuff, especially now that John Warden, a guy who has dealt completely with robots in his past life, is now part of that brand. He ain't there to redo Ranger suits. He's there to redo Ranger robots, Zords. Those G2 commercials, ugh. There's nothing wrong with them. The aerial bots are taking their shot. Silver bolts move in Combaticons to change, to be rearranged, to make the super robots superior. It was the 90s. Rap music and hip-hop culture was huge. Did no one watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Of course it was going to happen. You think the fossilizers will be released in different colors and factions via Pulse or online? Oh, they are going to repaint the hell out of those guys. I promise you. They're doing right now the boring bone-colored fossilizers, but trust me, they are going to repaint the hell out of them, for sure. Hasbro never wastes a mold. They never waste a mold. It's very rare that you see a mold and it gets like one version and that's it. It has to be a really bad mold. Even really bad molds got like multiple repaints. Like, you know, there's some really bad molds that got like 100 different repaints. Combat Hero Megatron Optimus commercial was my favorite. Yeah, it was a good one. I like the laser rods. They were cool too. Traditional early 90s CG before Mainframe Entertainment came around and showed people how it's done. Is there any stamp difference between Getaway and Lightfoot? One moment. Let's take a look. I have a sealed one here, unfortunately, so I can't open it. But I mean, they're pretty much exactly the same, and I have my actual one over there. But the other one's a Getaway, obviously. I love Lightfoot. He's so cool. And he's Canadian. From a company called British Motors. Isn't that confusing? To my knowledge, him and Slapdash, Road King are exactly the same 100%. There's no differences in the changes because I have a loose Road King and I have a loose Slapdash and they're exactly the same. And the only reason why I got them because I was told when I bought it that there actually is a difference, but this was years ago. This was like 2002. And there wasn't because when I got home from BotCon and I compared them, they were exactly the same. So the only difference that I had was one had the trading card from the Master Force version. I want to one day get a Road King mint in box. I would love to. Since you brought it up, what is your opinion of badly designed toys? No jump starters or battle chargers. I'm not gonna pick on stuff like the battle chargers or the jump starters, because those were stuff that, you know, it was the 80s and they were trying to do something unique. They wanted to do something that was different. Hey, you know, it auto transforms and jumps up. You know, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool when you think about it, you know. Or the battle charger, something that's a pull back and it actually transforms. It was trying to be different as opposed to all the modular kind of basic transforming kind of stuff that we had at the time. So I can't hate on those. When I talk like badly designed ones, I'm talking more like ones that, you know, the gimmick wasn't an auto transform thing that would hold back articulation, and they're still bad toys. Like, I always look at, you know, ones like Activator Megatron, which was like, and still to this day, I look at that one, and it's like, it doesn't even transform. You know what I mean? And it's like all the other activators seem to do the job right and everything, but animated Activator Megatron, just not a good toy. Any of the ones that just, like I've always said, like Beast Machine's Night Scream, out of scale, ugly design, stupid gimmick, extremely fragile plastic, even out of the box back then. Think about that for a second. Not a GPS thing today, out of the box back then. That's a badly designed toy. Beast Machine's Night Scream gets up on a lot of lists when it comes to me. Like worst toy, worst design, worst character. Dual Cons were cool, exactly. And Dual Cons didn't have much articulation. The original Dual Cons, they were like, and that's it. But it was a gimmick, and it was cool. They were trying to do something different. And I could always respect trying to do something different. Hey, Protoman, I just purchased G1 Overlord with his box for a little less than $500. Very good price. He is only missing the missiles, which are always missing, the 3 little missiles, and his little car, his little blast buggy. Was that a good purchase in your head or not? Very good purchase. Very, very good purchase. Usually, man, with the box, usually you're talking $1,000 easily. So you got it for a very good price. And considering, you know, you could have easily gotten the UK one, but clearly you obviously got the Japanese version here. So you're because you have the box, it's guaranteed that it's the Japanese version. And the only difference is the purple, supposedly, is slightly different. But the problem is when you're talking the purple plastic, like someone could bring me a Japanese Overlord and another person can bring me a Japanese Overlord, and one could have been in the sun a little more than the other, and the purple could change the shade. So it's very hard to tell the difference between those two, considering how old those toys are, the UK one and the Japanese one. I don't know. But great price. Great price. You did very well. I'm not in costume. Lee J. Robinson. Shout out to Lee J. Lee J is a old friend that I've known for, God, Lee J, 25 years now. He's in some of my videos. Maybe I should pull up. Lee J, yo, should I pull up an old photo of you with Blaster? Let's pull up an old photo of Lee J with Blaster. Let's pull up an old photo of Lee J with Blaster. You're going to see a young, fresh-faced Protoman. Let's see. I know the photo's kicking around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. There it is. Damn. Damn, son. Nice is a well-done action figure. And I know the designers, and they are very talented people. They know what they're doing, too. And again, it works for a market that exists. You know? I don't care what anyone says, you know, like, if you're angry about it, that's fine, but people are buying it, so there's a market. I always say the mob rules, and the vocal minority does not matter in that case. No siree. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to pull up the image here. I had to find it first. Let's find that image. There's that image. Look at that. So Lee J is the taller black dude. This is an old photo, guys. This is a photo from, man, I want to say 1999, Lee J? I want to say 99. Looking in the background, that's a Bret Hart poster from 97, so. But yeah. Back in the day. There's a young Protoman there with his hot rod, and there's Jaws D with Jazz. That's an old photo. Old photo. But yeah. From 1 to 10, how pumped are you for the 86 SS Diamond? I want to see them. Of course I had more hair. Everyone has more hair 30 years ago. Actually, this was 25 years ago, but still. I want to say this was it. No, this was 21 years ago. This was about 21 years ago, that one. Oh, there's tons of old photos of me from the fandom online. Are you kidding? When you've been in the Transformer fandom, like the online fandom this long, there's tons of old photos of me. There's tons. You know how many BotCon photos from like BotCon like 2001 to now are kicking around of me? So many. Yeah, it was 99, 2000, eh, Lee J? Probably. What are your thoughts on the Earthrise modulators? I love them. I think it's my favorite part of Earthrise. I wish that they did more. Anything with the Micromaster stuff. Like when they did that mask box set for the Galaxy Odyssey collection with the little Micromasters, I was all over that. Like that was like, click, Amazon, click, buy. I am taking that right away. Always taking that. It's the old saying, less hair here, more hair here, although I shave. But you were at BotCon 2001. Awesome. That was my first BotCon. I got both exclusives. That was such an awesome BotCon. I was so happy that was my first BotCon too, because that was the first BotCon where they started using trademarked names of characters. So we had RC and Tigatron. And oh man, what a year. What a year. That was such a fun year. Those are like the small BotCons too. Like the later BotCons were so packed in comparison to those ones. And that's why like when I started doing TFCon in 2006, 2007, 2008, those early years of TFCon before it really blew up because of the movie, those early TFCons were like those early BotCons too. They were much smaller, more intimate. Like you just hang out in the lobby and it wasn't like super packed. What do you do for a living instead of YouTube? I am a car mechanic. I work on BMWs and European cars. They are not my favorite cars. I do not like BMW, but I work on them. And it is a tiring job, but it pays the bills. I love cars. I love cars. I'm a greasehead, motorhead. Lee J knows what I'm talking about. And pays the bills. Pays the bills, let me tell you. YouTube is just money on the side. Any money that I get from you guys goes towards making the channel better. Like getting a better webcam one day. Ugh. Webcam prices right now are ridiculous since the Zoom boom, as we call it. Talk about crazy. You know, I finally get some money to buy a webcam and then this Zoom stuff happens. For Hot Rod, I bought the Best Way Masterpiece knockoff version MP38 because this one show includes the fishing pole. Well, you know, the fishing pole I believe was included with the original too. Yeah. Either way, I don't even think it's the best masterpiece hot rod you could own. You're European? I'm not European. I just work on BMWs. I'm actually from Canada. Technically, I'd be European because most Canadians come from French and English origins, but why split hairs? Yeah, see, Crimson, I was looking at a Logitech C922, I think it was, and I was talking to my friend Ego Raptor a few days ago, and I was asking him what he uses. He does, like, card stuff for his reviews and everything, and I was asking him, and he uses a DRLM, which is like he uses his crazy photo camera one. And I was like, oh man, like those are way more expensive to own too. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what I want to get, because that's a big purchase, you know. And then of course, if it's really strong, I need to have, you know, it's going to need a computer upgrade too to deal with it. So Quebec versus France. There is no real French. It's all French. Français comme ça ou français comme ça. That's the only difference. France is when you squeeze your cheeks. Yeah, Aaron has done animation. Ego Raptor's done animation and voice acting and stuff. He does YouTube stuff too. A lot of YouTube stuff. But yeah, I was asking him about getting a better webcam. Yeah, the Pro Stream. That was, I think I asked him about it, and also Cook Sucks, who's a Twitch streamer that I'm really good friends with. Shout out to Andy. I was trying to figure out what I want to get. When do you think Canada will become a real country? I don't know. If we're not a real country, why do we have a border? We're just America's hat, right? Or you're our pants. Think about it. I don't know. I love the South Park movie. When that movie came out and all us Canadians went to go see it, we loved it. Because we don't get offended. We enjoy good humor. What do you think of the Jada Transformer stuff? I love everything Jada does. Long before Jada was doing Transformer stuff, they were doing Initial D stuff, and I loved it all. I have, like, first of all, when RPMs came out, like the die-cast car Transformer stuff, I bought all of that. And when that stopped, I was like, man, I want more of that. And then Jada took the license, and Jada, I love their stuff. Again, all their Hollywood Ride stuff, all their Initial D stuff, they did the Fast and the Furious stuff, all great quality. So I love what they do. They know die-cast cars. They really do. Like, they're like on that Hot Wheels level. So I'm cool with the stuff they do. The figure stuff, that's a different story. That's out of their wheelhouse, but when it comes to the car stuff, I love what they do. The Generations Nightbeat should have stayed on the Jazz repaint. I agree. I actually talked about that on Twitter. I posted a high-res image of it. That would have been so cool. That would have been a perfect Jazz. And then they could have done a Minerva. Yes, Wheelblade, the third-party Minerva from the Minerva mold. It's gonna be the third-party Windblade from the Minerva mold. Talk about taking a square and forcing it into a square, a circle peg. I don't know. It was funny, but not an idea that I would have thought of. What are your thoughts on Earthrise RC? Not the best RC. I still feel Get Generations, or more specifically, Takara Legends RC is probably the best RC right now. I haven't messed with the Masterpiece one yet, so I do not know. And third-party ones, I only messed with Azalea. I don't own her. It was my friend who owns one. And I've never messed with any of the other Masterpiece RCs, so I don't know. I'm not too familiar with those other third-party ones. I have a lot of Jada muscle cars and V-dubs. Yeah, man, Jada does some good stuff. Like, I really like the die-cast stuff they do. So them doing Transformer stuff, even that mini Transformer stuff that they're doing, those mini G1s, and they have more planned too, like those little micro machine-shaped ones. I mean, I'm excited about a lot of that stuff, but I have a bias because I really like cars. I really do. Even though, like, again, I love Beast Wars. Beast Wars couldn't be any further away from cars. But I really like cars, like, you know, with Transformers and stuff, the muscle cars and stuff like that. Like, every time I look at Hot Rod, you know, like, I look at Hot Rod very differently than you guys look at Hot Rod. You know, like, I go, okay, he has his little intakes here for his engine, and then you have, like, on the side here, you got his little, you know, his little air filter. It's like, there's a lot of little detail that people take for granted. And then you have, of course, your exhausts on the back, you know, which would be a straight pipe. So when you have double exhaust, you're actually able to get more acceleration because there's less constriction to the engine. It's very smart. It's very smart, the Transformer designs. Micromaster Odyssey pack. Could we... So yeah, I love that Micromaster Odyssey pack. I can't wait for that to come out. I pre-ordered that instantly. And I want more of them. Take more of them. Make a whole bunch. Fastest car I ever owned. Subaru Impreza WRX STI. 2005. Traded it in. But easily my favorite car. Also my favorite car, too. I love that car. Second fastest, 86 Corolla. AE 86. There's some awesome photos of me with that car kicking around the internet. A young me. Actually, we'll pull that one up. We'll pull up yet again another young Protoman photo. Why not? Let's pull up that one. Yo, Lee J, you still here? You still here, Lee J? Because he remembers all this stuff. When I got my Tercel, too. That was the car that I learned how to drive manual on. Back in the day. Look at this old photo. Oh my god, what year is this? That's got to be 2000. For sure. 2000. My old photos. Let's post this one. Bam. Source. Find. Protoman with the car. Very well-known car to people who follow the anime world. Let's put it this way. But yeah. Anyone looking for Siege, Skywarp, or Earthrise? Snow Job. I own a 2005 Lancer Evo 8. Pretty awesome. You don't see many Evos from that year, too. Did you have to import that one? Mind you, where are you? You're probably not in America then. Because in America and Canada, you wouldn't be able to have an Evo 8 in 2005. That's for sure. But yeah. Let me actually take down this photo. Anyways, that's one of the cars that I owned back in the day. Very popular in the J-Spec scene. Went through a lot of different cars. The unfortunate thing about living in Canada is you can't have like a million cars and have them sitting around your driveway when the snow is destroying it and the weather's destroying it and the salt is destroying it. Why is that a cursed photo? A lot of cool cars. I'm a big car guy. Always been a big car guy. Starts swinging his head. Anyone who knows the story with that car. Which model of Evo came in 2003? I'm unfamiliar with that. Mitsubishi is like Mitsubishi and Suzuki are probably my two weakest knowledge of cars because I rarely see a Mitsubishi. I rarely see one in a garage nowadays. And Suzuki even less. I'm more likely to see a Peugeot than a Mitsubishi. Is Toyota the best car brand in the world? I always say it depends what you're using a car for. If it's for point A to B, Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic. Without question. Are they pretty? Not really. But they are the best cars in the world to use. Quebec uses salt. Yes, they do. And it destroys cars. Absolutely destroys cars. What's your dream car? Ooh. I don't know. Even if I was a millionaire, it's like I would just have a fleet. Like they're, because sometimes I'm feeling Ferrari Testarossa. Sometimes I'm feeling, I don't know, 86 Corolla. Sometimes I'm feeling, 2001 Subaru Impreza. Sometimes I'm feeling, maybe I want to drive a 350Z or go to the old Datsun, or like a 300ZX, Nissan. Like it really has to be a mood with me because, cars it's for different situations. There's no like one best car. So twin turbo 300ZX, that'd be really cool. I don't own that one, but I'd love to like have something like that. But it'd be like a fleet. Like I'd have a whole bunch for different days and moods. You know, it would be a custom hot rod car. Well, that would be the Dome Zero, which unfortunately never got mass release. So doing a real life hot rod would be possible, but I'd have to own a car that's extremely rare, and it was a concept car. And you could actually drive that car in Gran Turismo. It does exist. It's just very difficult. Time to get a big garage then. Well, again, I have a 4-car parkable driveway, but the snow and the rain and everything would destroy it. So what's the point of buying such a beautiful car for it to sit out there and get destroyed in our terrible weather? Well, see, here's the thing, Event. Like, they're still good cars, but it really depends on what you're buying. Like, what do you need? If you're doing an A to B every day, then it doesn't matter. Like, you get like stuff that are just bulletproof. Like, again, the Civics and the Corollas, and you don't fall for any of that other stuff. You don't need a Camry. You know, you don't need a V6. You don't need that kind of stuff. Favorite Transformer Decepticon character from the live action movies? Probably Barricade, I would want to say. And technically, if you could count for the brief moment that Wheelie was a Decepticon, I guess. But I'd have to go with Barricade. Just cool design. More specifically, Barricade, how he was in the video games. Because he was voiced by Keith David, the voice of Goliath from Gargoyles. And he sounded amazing as Barricade. I kind of hated that when I finally got to see the 2007 movie in theaters on its opening day, and he had that first line, "Are you user, ladies man 217," and it wasn't Keith David's voice. I was very disappointed with that. Need to ask it. Favorite Autobot and Decepticon? Hot Rod for Autobot. Decepticon, I would have to say Shockwave. I find Shockwave is probably the most intriguing of all the Decepticons. I'm probably more influenced of that because of the Marvel comics that I read. They made me like him a lot, but there's a lot of really cool Decepticons, but probably Shockwave stands above them all with me. I loved Hot Wheels when I was little, then I found Transformers, and they were cars that transformed into people, and that was awesome. That's very cool, Proto Silver. But it's funny too, because like Hot Wheels, like I think my favorite Hot Wheel, and I look back years later, and it's like my favorite Hot Wheel I think was like this little Volkswagen Beetle that was white, and it reminded me of Herbie the Love Bug. I think it was called a Volkswagen Baja, because it wasn't a complete Volkswagen Beetle. It was a Volkswagen Baja, and I just remember loving that little Hot Wheel car. What is your second favorite Autobot? Probably Road King from Master Force, which is Slapdash. But again, the interpretation of that character is the Master Force one, not the comic book version of Slapdash. And then third would have to be Nitro Convoy from Galaxy Force. And I know those all sound weird, but it's because I've watched it all, and I just really like those characters. And they need more toys. Is Grindor supposed to be Blackout? I like to believe that they're separate characters. Then again, there's multiples of a lot of Decepticons that appear that have died in the movieverse due to inconsistency. What kind of camera do you have to take pictures? I have a digital camera that I use sometimes, but I just kind of just use my phone. And my phone's really old. I don't bother really with, does it make phone calls? Does it give me the basics of the internet? Does it play Pokemon Go? Good enough. I know who Herbie is. I hope so. Herbie the Love Bug. Ocho. Classic Disney film when Disney stopped doing live action to do animation. Now they do live action in a petty way, not in a creative way. That first Herbie movie is awesome. I love that movie. It's like a racing movie. It's so cool. Great movie. Oh, we have a winner for our Symbiote Studios contest. My mod finally messaged me. Just popped up now. He's like, bro, I got the winner. All right. Everyone listening? So once again, the winner has to have a registered email, registered address, legitimate address, not just a P.O. box, because we can't just leave it in a P.O. box, and has to have Twitter so they could contact me. And the winner is, according to my mod here, he enjoys Boom Butterfinger Butterfingers. That's like The Simpsons. Nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger. And it's Figure Expert is the winner. And a Figure Expert, if you do not claim it within the next, until this podcast is over, we'll have to pick a second place, which we have here too, also lined up. We didn't ask a question. We just said, hey, name your favorite candy. And then the mod was going to pick the one that matches his favorite one. So it was totally random. So I guess our mod really likes Butterfingers. He is American, though, so we don't see much Butterfingers here in Canada. They do exist, but I don't think we see them as much. Congratulations, Figure Expert. So again, please, Figure Expert, contact me through Twitter. It's the only way you can contact me. And we will hook you up with some free stuff from Symbiote Studios, yo. Get yourself some plush. Get yourself some pins. Get yourself some shirts. And again, even though you didn't win today, everyone else, symbiotestudios.com. The link is down below. Click on that. Use promo code Protoman, one word, Protoman, and get $5 off your first order. So check it out, yo. The right answer is Kinder Eggs. I love Kinder Eggs. There's a amazing video of me online on YouTube of me trying to eat 20 Kinder Eggs and getting horribly sick. Canadian Kinder Eggs, not U.S. Kinder Eggs. Well, U.S. Kinder Eggs are different. They're the Kinder Egg, what are the half ones there, eh? They're different. They taste good too, but they're not the same. The chocolate's not as rich. What's your favorite Autobot female character? That's a tough one. I lean on Minerva a little bit just because I really like Master Force, and Minerva was really cool in that. But I also really like RC. I like RC. I like Windblade. There's a lot of really good female characters in Transformers. I'm just trying to think. Megatronia. Like Mega Empress. She's pretty cool. She's she doesn't have much fiction. She just kind of has the Sakamoto manga stuff, but she's pretty cool too. I remember buying that box set right away because I thought her design was really cool. Cool little repaint. Did that Victorion mold some justice. Did you win MP Guylock and Vulcan? Because they were going to need a size comparison for SS86. I have no idea what I guess those are third-party names. I don't know the third-party names. It's always not this character and not that character. The Kinder Bars, which I believe are called Buenos, if I remember correctly. Those are really good, too. Such rich chocolate. Oh, sticks to you. Sticks to you. Literally sticks to you. Favorite Femcon? Probably Mega Empress. I'd have to say Mega Empress. But, I mean, Black Arachnia was pretty awesome, too. But she's a Predacon, so I guess that would be different, but I'd have to go with Mega Empress. If not, Black Arachnia. Cool design. Very well fleshed out character. Because, I gave Chromia from, Galaxy Force. She's okay, I guess. Think you can see her a little bit? I think you can kind of see her. There she is. There she is. Do you like the fact that Masterpiece figures are now based on animation Sunbelt? I think that was always the goal from day one. I think that the goal always by Masterpiece was trying to be as show accurate as possible. It's just that when they first started, it wasn't there. And whenever they do repaints, that's when they try to do stuff that's toy accurate or have fun with it. I think it's always was supposed to be the goal. If you wanted toy accurate, here's a spoiler. Get the toy, because it would be toy accurate. The original toy. You want a toy accurate G1 Megatron? Get the G1 toy Megatron. You think G1 toy collecting is dying a bit in the last 10 years. Yeah, I think that the thing with G1 that people need to understand is that practically almost everything, not everything, but practically almost everything from 1984 to 1986 has been reissued at this point. Not everything, but almost everything. And the stuff that was high demand stuff in the secondary market, like imagine like a guy who has been sitting on a near complete G1 Devastator that was missing like one fist or something, and he's been trying to sell it. And then these reissues come out and he's kind of screwed, you know, or like guys who've been sitting on like, you know, bare bone Fortress Maximus bodies. And then that reissue came out. So like, I see how the market is slowly dying because those reissues are just making it that the actual market is not as necessary. What's your favorite G2 design? Mine is Mirage, you said. Mirage, which one? Because are you talking about like that watermelon bubble yum Mirage with the green and pink? Or are you talking the GoBot Mirage? Best G2 redesign. Never really thought. I mean, obviously you could fall on stuff like Laser Rod Optimus Prime. The first Optimus Prime with a long nose cab and flames on him long before the Michael Bay movie. People are quick to forget that one. I don't know. I guess Laser Rod Prime. There wasn't a lot of. There's so many like redesigns, but the redesigns were usually like very insignificant, like a Sideswipe or even the Dinobots. I like Beast Wars Air Razor, but I feel she just didn't like get enough character development. You know, so like she's cool, but I think I wanted more. Good stormy morning from Manila, Philippines. That is awesome, brother. Thank you for coming to check us out. Philippines are cool, man. I want to like thank the Philippines because we had a Filipino channel that was English. It was half English, half Tagalog. Sorry if I mispronounce it. They would play a lot of Japanese anime that was dubbed in English back in the 80s. So because of Filipinos, I got to see Daimos very early. And I love Daimos to this day. It's one of my favorite Super Robot series. And it's all because of the Filipino English dub of Daimos, where they referred to him as Richard. Probably the best G2 redesign is Laser Rod Optimus Prime. Yeah, I agree. There's not many. Do you collect Starcom? I have some Starcom stuff. I don't actively collect it. I just have some of it. And I'm like, oh, hey, Starcom. It's cool to have like one of them with the magnets and the shh. Love that sound. Shh. The little wind up thing and it slowly pops out. Just a little playset of Starcom. I like to have like one or two items of like, classic toy lines just to have that one or two items. Who's your favorite voice of Megatron? David K. 200%. David K. is not only my favorite Megatron voice actor, but he's probably my favorite voice actor in all of Transformers. I think he's just... And I've hung out with David K. I've had dinner with him, and I've never told him that. Just because I don't want to blow smoke up his butt. But I think he's the greatest voice actor of them all. What is the craziest TF item you saw in terms of price? For me, it was MPO1 for $4.99. Oh, you mean like cheapest? The cheapest deal ever that I saw price-wise, not counting like... See, then I don't want to go into like weird convention mess-ups because some people mess that stuff up. No problem, Mark. No problem. Yeah, you love Daimos too. Yeah, Daimos was amazing, and they played it like crazy over there. Yeah, Philippine TV, man. Like they had a lot of cool stuff. They had a lot of Toku stuff and everything. And it's funny because like half of it is in like Tagalog for the Philippine language, and half of it was English. So like you'd have like some of the shows you could watch, some you couldn't if you didn't understand. This white boy right here, he didn't know any better. But hey, if I got to see anime back in the 80s, I wasn't going to complain. Don't see much of a market for Master Force and Victory reissues. Well, it's just what would sell. Like, I firmly believe one day we'll see a Star Saber reissue. I still believe that's in the cards. But anyone else, I don't know about that. look, technically we got a reissue of Landcross. We got a reissue of Landcross. They did like that blind pack set there of them, where there was even like a black version of them too. But some of the others, Road Caesar, he kind of has his fragility flaws, so I don't know if they'd ever reissue Road Caesar. They have to change the way his combiner pieces work. His chest peg for Road Caesar is very fragile, and if you put it in straight, it's fine, but if you try to like twist it out, you'll break it. So that's a toy that's like, oof. I don't know how they'd have to change it a little bit instead of straight up reissuing it, because people will have problems. Is an Optimus Prime solo movie coming? I don't think so. You got to sell toys. Can't do an Optimus Prime solo movie. You still have an almost complete Deimos. Ooh, I would love to have a Shogun Warriors Jumbo Deimos. That's a grail for me. I'd love to own that, but I don't want to pay the crazy money that people ask for them. Just bought G1 Overlord. He's going to be reissued tomorrow. Watch. I always get screwed over like this. Now, Nick. Don't be so negative. The world is not always out to get people. Philippines had the best of both worlds also in toys, both Hasbro and Takara. Yeah, man, like that's the crazy thing. Like, I had a friend who lived over there, and he was telling me how like he had Shogun Warriors, which are like the American release of Super Robot stuff, and he had like the Japanese, Chodaikin like deluxe stuff too in stores. Because again, like Japan's right there, but yet it's an English speaking country in a lot of ways, so they also get a lot of English imports. So it was very fascinating. Probably a very good place to be for that kind of stuff as a collector. Why are there no new versions of Japanese Transformers and Yusha? Because after 2007, with the success of the Michael Bay movie, it was like, we're not going to give you any Japanese created, product from animation ever again, with that one exception of the Transformers Go, like short little animation stuff that they did. But everything has been done in America since. Think about it. Technically, G1 was made in Korea. Like the animation was done in Korea with a little bit of Japan, and it was written in America. Then we get to Beast Wars. That's all Canada. You got Canada right there. Then you get to Unicron Trilogy stuff. Well, not even like Car Robots, Robots in Disguise, and then Unicron Trilogy, all Japan. And then when we get to 2007 movie coming out, animated, America. Transformers Prime, America. Robots in Disguise, 2015, America. Cyberverse, America. So, I don't know when we're going to go back to the days of Yusha. If you want Yusha stuff, you have Shike Leon, which is that Bullet Train series that Takara is doing. It's kind of the closest thing we have to Brave stuff right now, or Yusha. Yes, Soul of Chogokin Deimos needs to be revisited. Really does. Back in the day, Philippines also had VCD and DVD. Yep. VCD I am very familiar with because I had a lot of Chinese friends here in Montreal, Canada. So VCD was something that was introduced to me long before I ever saw a DVD player. Long before. Very popular with the Chinese community. No kids are coming currently. Keep talking. I might cry because Halloween is destroyed. Hey, I would be right now handing out candy to kids instead of doing this if that would have happened. It's pretty much over, man. This year is done. This year is done for that. Let's hope for a better next year. Should Lorenzo de Bonaventura get fired? Well, like most Hollywood people, how much do they really do that they're actually involved? Not much, but they get their millions. Is the Dark Energon the American version of Element Energy? Elmo, I guess. The thing is that Dark Energon is like the blood of Unicron, and it's like, I don't know. It could be, I guess. It's just it really has to do with the context, because one is like it's like stuff that was after he died, and the other one is stuff in other continuities before he dies. I don't know. It's kind of tough, that one. You just fall upward in Hollywood anyways. Yeah. You said it, Ninjatron. You said it. My cousin is half Japanese, so when we were little, he would come back with all types of 80s robot toys. He would bring tapes of shows that were recorded, of course. He would have to translate. Oh, what a lucky kid you must have been. I would have been in heaven. Different question for you. Who is the hottest woman in the world? Right now? I don't know. Who's good looking that's a celebrity? I don't really like follow celebrities. I don't really like follow celebrities and like pay attention to like who's good looking or not. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really even think of that one. There's a lot of hot women. The world is filled with a lot of beautiful women. That's all I'm going to say. It's filled with a lot of ugly women too, but it's filled with a lot of beautiful women also. What does the base story of Transformers go? New continuity. It's kind of like a spin-off slightly of the Transformers Prime continuity. And it's very samurai Japanese-esque, let's put it that way. I think I have it's out of reach. I have like a piece of one of the figures. I watched subtitle version. Yeah, it was like a spin-off series because it's limited with the amount of episodes it could be. They weren't able to tell a complete story. It's very Japanese in writing style. And again, it was just a small little thing. Just a small little thing, spin-off of Transformers Prime, pretty much. That's it. Hey, Protoman, what figures do you recommend me to buy? Well, if we're talking what's on the shelf right now, any of those modulators, Deluxe Class Earthrise, if you could get your hands on them. More specifically, Ironworks. If you could get Grease Pit, like obviously the Hasbro Pulse one, if you could somehow get that one, that's my favorite version of them. I love those guys. Love those guys. Any of the Micromasters, if they're still kicking around, Hot Rod Patrol, pick those up. But that's my bias. I love those smaller price point kind of stuff because I feel like due to the limitations, they try to do the best that they can with them. It's kind of like how people love Lego minifigs, where it's because they have the limitation of a minifig, they try to really build around that. So. Oh, I don't hate Lorenzo. It's just one of the many Hollywood guys that just, whatever. You know all about robots and Japanese anime. When it comes to women, you know nothing. I've heard this joke before somewhere. It's not that I know nothing. Do I know nothing about women? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Not every woman is the same. So. Alpha Trizer is one of my favorite Bakan figures. Oh, what is my favorite Bakan figure? I obviously can't pick the stuff that I worked on. What's a really good Bakan figure? I have to lean back to look at some of the others. Oh, how could I forget about Oil Master? Oil Master was awesome. That was like a unexpected out of left field one. Oil Master was really cool. Any of that Bakan 2011 animated stuff was awesome. The Motor Master and the crew. Yeah, not every woman is the same, you know? Ain't that the truth? Can't sum them all up. There's some absolutely terrible women in the world that are just some of the worst people in the world, and then there's absolutely amazing women in the world. So, can't put them all into one box and label it. Awesome scene. Thanks for the trivia and stories. Stay safe back there in Canada. Thank you, Mark, for stopping by all the way from the other side of the globe. Thank you, man. Okay, Protoman, I will try to get them when I'm in my own country, Mexico. And someone from Mexico. That's, you know what's fascinating, guys? Like, that's the one thing I like about the stream. I like it when, like, people let me know where they're from. Because, like, we've had people from all over the globe in the streams, and I always love that. Because it's just cool to, like, see... You know, because when I look at my, like, YouTube analytics, I see, like, oh, there's all kinds of different people from different walks of life that watch. But to actually, like, see them tune in on the stream, that's pretty cool. A lot of people don't know that I'm even from Canada. A lot of people just assume I'm American or something. You know, because I don't really have that. I don't have the Canadian accent, eh? You know, I don't have that accent. So, it doesn't really come across. What's your favorite regular Decepticon Pretender shell? Ooh, probably Skullgrin. But I also lean on, you know, like obviously Bludgeon and stuff. Like Bludgeon's pretty cool, but everyone loves Bludgeon. So I'll go with Skullgrin. Skullgrin, I think, was my first Pretender shell. So he kind of has a special place in a lot of ways. Someone from Italy. That is awesome. I don't think I've ever heard someone say a boot in my entire life. Ever. And we don't have BDIs either, as much as we try. My first language is Espanol. I say Z. I say Dragon Ball Z. I don't say Z. Who the hell says Z? I don't think I've ever said Z in my life. It's always Dragon Ball Z. Transformers Z. Zone. I don't think I've ever met... Same thing in like bag of milk. I've never had a bag of milk. I could bring my milk down right now. It's in a carton. A lot of these stereotypes, I don't know where they came from. I really don't. Doesn't bother me, but they're very bizarre. No one wears plaid. Who wears plaid? I'm wearing Adidas. I might as well be Russian, you know? I heard from my Canuck friend when they talk fast. Where is he from? Maybe it's a regional thing. I don't know. Hi from Portugal. Wow, even Portugal. You guys have the best fish, from what I was told. I have a coworker that's Portuguese. He always brags about the fish over there. It's really good. Seafood. Portuguese food in general is seafood. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for coming, Jim. It's always nice to have you here. I've seen bags of milk and people say Zed. And you found some magical Canadians, let me tell you. Red Green Show? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm not going to watch King of the Hill and go, this is all of America. You know what I mean? Like, King of the Hill is clearly, you know, Texas, Arlington, which is actually a fictional location. But, you know, it's the same thing. I wouldn't use one show to represent an entire country. And Red Green Show is not the best way to do it. By the way, before I head out, here's an idea. How about Hasbro make Aston Martin into Transformer? Yeah, well, they'd have to pay Aston Martin for the license. That's the first problem. That was the Twitter post that I did where Aaron Archer talked about what was the fastest Transformer that was ever designed from like start to finish. And it took less than 24 hours to design the movie preview protoforms. And it was like, really? Why? Why was it so quick to make those? Because they didn't have to pay a car license. So they didn't have to contact them. They didn't have to talk to nobody. Do you call your friends buddies? Or buddy, or your guy friend? No. I call them bro, or brah. Or by their names, I guess. Is there an Arlington in Texas? I was told by that the creator of King of the Hill, Mike Judd, said he based it off of a fictional version of Texas or something, like a fictional town. It wasn't actual Arlington. I don't know. Maybe I heard wrong. Just remember hearing that somewhere. If you can make a new line of Transformers that isn't a rehash an old line, what would it be? Something that's radically different. Something that was like I don't want to say like Armada, but something that's like Armada, where new characters, new designs, new trademarks. Hasbro would hate it because they'd have to have all these new trademarks and all these new characters. Create a new female character, create a new leader character, create a new, you know, second in command character, create a new villain character. Like take like everything that was like Victory and mix it in with everything that was like Armada in terms of like that essence of new play pattern and all that stuff. Arlen is fictional. Okay. Oh, it's true because it was Arlen, Texas. I'm sorry. I got that mixed up. Thank you. I got that mixed up. Sorry about that. I feel like bags of milk existed. We have a source crying over spilled milk. Those were asteroid Transformers. Yep, and you don't have to pay the license for an asteroid. No one's gonna sue you over that. Guys, I have to make sure if Action Figure Expert contacted me. Let me see. action figure expert, you have to let me know if you won. Because otherwise we have to give it away to someone else. Hey, Protoman, I think Rachni has some type of mutant mask. I think they all do. I think that's kind of how they keep the mutant head gimmick. Because you look closer to the face, you see that there's ball joints. Yeah, I think... I didn't say it in my review but of the news, but I think that he's going to have a mutant mask similar to that of the first Ultra Class Megatron. It's kind of like the bat mask. That's what I think. But I'm basing that actually more on the control art from that big poster that we got, because it kind of looks like he has that. But I could totally be wrong. And the first time we see the negative of that new packaging is because now it's like we don't even get to see the whole robot mode. It's like, here's all we get to see. We get to see half of it. So, who knows what's going to happen with that. We got Impactor and Siege. That was cool. However, I feel he should have been British in coming from the Marvel. Well, a lot of people weren't a fan of the voice acting in general from the Siege series. So, you would not be alone. Even Peter Cullen wasn't a fan. Do you think we could see a Commander class Starsaber? From the UK. Thank you, K-chan. We'll see. They have to have the trademark first. They don't even have Starsaber for Starsaber Blade. So, that's the problem. I really wonder what the Commander class figure is going to be in Kingdom. We will find out. I'm sure we'll get something. You know, look, we already have confirmed that we have a Titan class. So, obviously, they're going to fill that Commander class with something. What that'll be, we will find out. But I'm pretty sure it'll be something cool. I'm pretty sure of that. The bigger question is, like, you know, all the Commander class stuff that we've had thus far has been, you know, pretty top tier characters in terms of, like, selling. Thank you, Orlando, for the super chat. Love the channel. Small donation towards the webcam fund. Thank you, sir. You know what? Like, I was checking webcam prices in Canada, and I was talking to a friend of mine. He works at Best Buy, and he said, and maybe someone could confirm this for me, because when he told me it, he's like, right now, because of the Zoom boom, everyone's using Zoom, and all these schools needed cameras and stuff. And he said also a lot of other countries are buying them up and scalping them too. So, like, the good cameras. And I want to, like, if I'm going to get a webcam, I want to get a good webcam. I wanted that people could actually make out what's going on back here. You know, instead of getting, like, this lens flare that's destroying everything. You can't even see the Transformers. Look at that. No, all the G1 stuff you can't see here. All the 84 and 85. Yeah. But thank you, Orlando. Thank you so much. It goes a long way. Even these super chats, you know? Especially the super chats. They go a long way. What Cyberverse Deluxe do you guys recommend to get? I would have to go with RC 200%. The Cyberverse Deluxes, some of them are pretty hit and miss. Some of them feel like low-budget Deluxes. But RC, oh my god, she's really good. I was shocked how high quality she is. Like, she's solid plastic. Like, solid ABS plastic. Very well done. Get her. Great toy. And she looks pretty. She's all like, she has like a nice smile. So she's happy. No, it's just, you have to understand, like, the camera that I'm using right now is an iPad. Because that's about as good as it gets. Like, no joke. Because I have this. This is from 2003? I ain't gonna use this. And then I have this. Oh, I can't even, there we go. This old crusty ass Logitech, you know, camera from like, quick cam from like 2002, you know? So, those aren't going to cut it. So I have to use the iPad, and it does the job. Look, it does the job with us, but I want to get something better. I really do. I want to get something that could give me 60 frames per second, and then with that, upgrade the computer, and everything will be kind of perfect. And I just knocked the microphone just now. You know, and then it'll be awesome. Be really cool. Who is your favorite voice of Elita 1? Well, considering we don't have many of them, and if you even want to count Energon RC was technically called Elita in the Superlink version. I don't know. I'll go with the animated one before she became Black Arachnia. I guess she's the best one. I guess. Never really thought about that. I mean, I don't hate. Who is it that voiced her in the in G1? Marilyn something, Marilyn whatever. She was a guest at one of our TFCon twice. Favorite Siege Decepticon and Autobot toy. Siege Decepticon, I'd have to go with. Sorry, I have to lean back and look at them. Let's go with Astro Train. Really liked him. Really liked him. Although, all of those Micromasters are awesome. Like Siege Hyperdrive. Where is he? I have him close by somewhere here. There he is. Yeah. Siege Hyperdrive is a childhood toy. Like when I had the original Hyperdrive back in the day. So Siege, any of the Micromasters obviously are going to get some love here. But I'll have to go with the larger guys. I'd have to go with Astro Train. And with the larger guys, not counting Micromasters, I have to go with Ultra Magnus. That's a really good Ultra Magnus toy. Marilyn Aragon. There you go. Didn't she do something? She was She-Ra also, no, isn't she? Like, I remember she was also a bunch of other famous stuff. Because I know, like, her poster at TFCon, she had a bunch of other cool stuff, too. She was She-Ra, She-Ra. Commander class would be Rhinox with a CR chamber, or Tarantulas with his lab. Oof. That would be cool, though. It'd be cool to finally get like an official CR chamber or CR dip for the Predacons. CR bath. Worst Hot Rod Rodimus Prime toy. Ooh. Let's go with the American release of MP9 Masterpiece Rodimus, because of how fragile he is. And you don't even get the trailer. And the colors are supposed to be Rodimus Prime colors on that one, and you don't even get the trailer. The only good thing is you get offshoot, you get the Target Master. That's about it. Kingdom Commander class is probably going to be something bigger than Beast Wars Megatron. I would imagine so. It's probably going to be, I don't know, I was even joking about how it could be like, you know, Tripredacus or Magnaboss would be cool. That'd be cool, like a nice 3-pack of them. But they're not show characters, but we'll see. It'd be cool if they had them, though. If we get someone like Polar Claw in the future, that'll open it up to a whole bunch of non-show characters. But we'll see. Yeah, the Ultra Magnus I really like. I just like the white robot under it. It was very crisp and nice, and it wasn't exactly 100% like the Optimus. So I appreciated that contrast, that they're the same but still kind of different. It wasn't just a white repaint. What Decepticon would you say is a splitting personality of me? Ooh. Autobots, I could figure that out easily. There's quite a few. Decepticons, they don't have a lot of diversity in terms of personality. Because, like, with Autobots, I could see, you know, someone like a Blue Streak, you know, a character that's more laid back and kind of relaxed and stuff, and likes just hanging out and joking. But, you know, Blue Streak isn't someone that really strives for knowledge, you know, and so but I'm not Perceptor. I wouldn't say that. You know, I'm a mix of a few things. I'm a mix of a few things, and I love race car driving. So am I Blur? You know, am I Hot Rod? You know, Cyberverse Hot Rod or Cyberverse Blur or G1 comic book Blur? You know, or Indie Heat, Skid Z from Robots in Disguise, Car Robots. Okay, I got him mixed up. The She-Ra voice actor. There's so many voice actors, I keep forgetting. Overlord is commander class. I don't know, man. That leader class that we got from Titans was pretty stellar. So they'd have to really like release something very soon afterwards that's much better. Here in Spain, we were lucky to get Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory on TV. Oh, did you get the dubbed one by the Malaysian dub Star TV, or was it Japanese? Because that's probably what you got with Rodimus Prime and Billy fighting for the power pack. Kingdom class Megatron Transmetal 2. I think that would be too soon. I think that if the Kingdom toys sell super well, it would be too soon to jump into the Transmetal 2 well. That's something you could save for later. You got to really like pace it out. Do you recommend me Deluxe Class Bumblebee? I have not messed with it yet, so I don't know. If it's half as good as Cliff Jumper, then I hope so. Then it'll be good. But I haven't messed with that Bumblebee yet. I have not seen any of that stuff at all. Why is Grimlock smart in Cyberverse? Well, why is Grimlock not typical Grimlock in Robots in Disguise? You know, trademark reasons. Why was Grimlock the way he was in the Robots in Disguise 2015 series? You know, they try to take different takes on the characters. Try to be a little different instead of having to hire Greg Berger every time. Grimlock the train bot. Yeah, exactly. Was it Shoki was Grimlock from Raiden in that dub? Spaceship Bruce. I don't even know what they were trying to do with that one. Spaceship Bruce. Because, like, Bruce, Blues, you know, like, that would be like a Japanese mistranslation, but I don't even know, because that would make sense for, like, the Fortress Maximus mode. Fortress mode, or whatever you want to call it. Battleship Maximus. If you were to jump into Transmetals, do you see TM2 Dinobot being a fossilizer? If they jump into Transmetals, they're going to milk the Transmetals first. I would see them slowly doing Season 2 stuff. Transmetal 2s are Season 3 idea. So they got to slow it down. You know, make the best of the lore of Beast Wars and spread it over like a 3-year plan for us collectors. That would be the best thing to do for them from a business standpoint. Obviously, fans just want everything right away, but trust me, you don't want everything right away. Your wallet won't be able to take it, and because your wallet can't take it, the secondary market, when it becomes out of stock or not sold anymore, won't be able for you to take it either. Sound Blaster becomes new Sound Blaster. And Twincast becomes Blaster. Such a mess, that dub. Such a mess. Do you own Planet X robots? No, I don't. I'm not big on most third-party stuff, but I do appreciate their engineering and a lot of the stuff that they do. It does look cool, but I don't. Could we get Throttlebot repaints from Run Amok in the Gen Selects line? I could see that. I could see it being like Searchlight. Searchlight was his name, I think the white one. Searchlight could be repainted. It'd be like a all white with blue. That'd be kind of cool. That I would see as like a BotCon exclusive. Like back in the day, if BotCon still existed, I would see that being like a BotCon exclusive. Minerva becomes Nightbeat. How about Ginrai being called Optimus Prime? I literally have a clip from that. Where is that? That was on my Twitter. It's like Optimus Prime. Where's that stupid video? Trying to find that. It's like, what's your name, sir? My name is Optimus Prime. It's like, what? Ginrai? Okay. I don't know, I can't find it. So many videos I've posted. It'll get lost. Anyways. Hey, Protoman, are you waiting for the Japanese Siege Blaster with the Mercenary Faction symbol? I would prefer that one. I never found in retail the 35th anniversary version. So I'll probably pick up that one if I get a good opportunity. I'm not a big fan, personally, of buying retail product online. If I could get it in person and save that $10 to $15 on shipping, I'm going to do it. Because that 10 to 15 I save goes towards another figure. And I know it sounds cheap, but look around you. That's how I built this, you know? Like, I don't like just blowing my cash just on shipping alone. When you think about how much you waste on shipping is crazy. So a lot of times if the opportunity presents itself that I could potentially buy it in retail, I will wait. I will wait. For sure. Do you think we could see a Generation Selects Hauler or Artfire 2-pack? Well, I don't know about having both of them together. They would just use the same mold twice. But I could see like Hauler perhaps, or Artfire, one or the other. That'd be cool. Don't worry, I'm sure Amazon has already made a deal to get Kingdom exclusives. Possibly. It's a very strong possibility. Another like Galactic... Look, if Galactic Odyssey is selling well, which are Amazon exclusives, then guess what? You're going to see more of it. You know, you will see more. And look, they kept their promise. Like, look, they did the Amazon exclusive Counterpunch Punch, and in order to keep it an exclusive, when they did the Galactic Odyssey all these years, like 2 years later, what did we get? Yet another Punch Counterpunch, so they kept it an exclusive. Thank you for the super chat, Princeton Phalanx 59. Thank you again, brother. I appreciate every super chat that we get. Shows how much love that you guys give for this awesome hangout. And Princeton asks, is Hasbro still going to make tracks? He is on the list. He is on the list of the leaked stuff that is supposed to be in Kingdom. He could potentially be Wave 2 in the deluxes. So, yes. And they have the tracks trademark still. It's Autobot tracks, mind you. But they still have it. So, here's a spoiler. Yes, it's going to happen. Because they got to do it sooner or later. Because I believe it's going to expire next year. So, they got to do it at some point. Hope we get Inferno, Perceptor, and Cosmos in the Kingdom. What other Cyberverse Deluxes are good? I really like the Optimus. I find like I love Shockwave, but I had the regular one. I think I have it over there. But I find that like the Shockwave one is not that much different from the Warrior one. Obviously the Deluxe is still better because you get all the bells and whistles, and the engineering is slightly better in the end. God, I have them all over there, unfortunately. But like Optimus was really good, Megatron was really good, Bumblebee was Shockwave was, again, he's okay. Hot Rod needs more paint. Like, look at this. This is a deluxe. Count the paint apps. You can literally count the paint apps. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Turn them around. Oh, maybe one there. Oh, there's one big one there, and that's it. Like, this is a deluxe. And look, floppy, so floppy. Look at that. I don't know. I was so disappointed with the Hot Rod, and I keep them nearby too. But it's like, I don't know. RC, Optimus Prime. The Optimus has the opening chest with the Matrix thing. That's cool. Those are the two best ones. Until the only one I don't have Thunderhowl yet. He's coming. Hopefully Amazon doesn't cancel my order. He's been in like limbo for a while. But I would love to get my hands on Thunderhowl so I can mess with him and then see if that one's any good. And then my McAdams will be complete. I'll have my little McAdams figure. One of the original 13. Do you think Optimal Optimus would be a commander class? I could see it. The only reason why I don't think it'll happen is just because we had that Power of the Primes one. But, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they do want to revisit that design again so soon. I can understand, like, you revisit Rodimus over and over. You revisit, Optimus Prime over and over. But, like, those Beast designs, you kind of want to do it sparingly. So I don't know if they would want to revisit it so quickly. Happy Halloween, Waltimus. Talking about Leaked Kingdom, boys. What if Mutant Rodimus is a fuser? Lion with wings. We'll see. I always found that name quite bizarre. Really, he's the best of the bunch, Thunderhowl. Well, that's good to hear. Because I love that RC. The RC, I was shocked. I was shocked how good she was. Was G1 Artfire ever intended to reissue? Probably at some point. I would imagine he was intended to reissue. But maybe just the sales of Stepper, a.k.a. Ricochet, were not good in Japan. Like, let's forget, like, what we have here. Like, probably the Takara book box reissues that they did of Stepper probably didn't sell well, and they probably went, ooh, okay, so forget Artfire then. That's just my assumption, because it's very weird that they never did do it. They ended up doing like modern versions of it with the Inferno mold, but never the original reissue, which is a shame because that would really deflate that market price, which would be good for a lot of people. Well, by not having Thunderhowl, all I'm missing is his weapon, correct? I think that's the only thing that's missing off of mine. Because I remember I was building him up and stuff. What is one of your favorite Classics figure? Oh, that Classics Rodimus, specifically the Henkei repaint with the gold chrome spoiler, will always be a favorite, a personal favorite. But who else is good? Specifically Classics, not Universe 2.0, not Generations. From the Classics, Mirage. That skinny Mirage, I don't know why. I love that mold. Love that mold. And when they repainted it as Fracture, aka Crasher from the GoBots, love that mold. Love it. But I love race cars. More specifically, Formula 1 cars. Love them. Oh, it's true. He comes with the head. You're right. I totally forgot about that. 1 second. Yeah, you're right. That's what's missing. I totally forgot. He does have the weapon. Okay. Silly me. Silly me. I built him up not too long ago. I just totally forgot like what was missing because I'm like, oh, I gotta wait for Thunderhowl. Hey everyone, remember move your clock ahead. Oh yeah, it's true. Daylight savings. Very soon. Yeah, that's my cell phone background. It's Protoman. Very soon. Can't find my Henkei hot rod, but I found my United one. Not a fan of the United one as much, but I love the other one. Hey Proto, Earthrise, Ironhide, and Prowler are coming tomorrow. Do you think there'll be more ship in box stuff? We don't know. So for people to understand what Dream over here, or is it over there? Dream over there is talking about is how a lot of Amazon product, if it's in a box, Amazon will then just slap a sticker on it and ship it like that. It's a new service that they're trying to roll out called Ship. What is it called? It's SIO or whatever. SIOB, Ship in Own Box, or Ship in Own Container, SIOC, and it's kind of slowly being rolled out. That's the main reason why deluxes have become boxes instead of card backs. You know, like there's a reason why this kind of like evolution happened. And it started with Age of Extinction to do this kind of thing because they want to have more boxes. That way they could be shipped as a box instead of a card back that could have a potential bubble that could like, you know, slide off or get damaged. And then of course now they say the environmental stuff too. But that's a whole other story. Is Transformers Animated Season 4 canceled? It was never canceled. It was just never happening. Thank the success of the Michael Bay movies to end Season 4 of Animated. And then they made Transformers Prime, which was more flavorful to the Michael Bay designs. I love that they used my favorite hot rod, 6 different transformations in Transformers the movie. Yeah, he has a lot of different transformations. They couldn't figure that one out. And twisting of the arms of the one going around. Fun fact, gosh, I wish I could show a better example, but so this is based off of the Fluoro Deary design, right? And the intent was in the past was that Hot Rod's crotch would transform and make the front of his hood there. That's the best way to show it there, I guess. And that was one of the many different intended transformations that just never happened. There's so many for that character. That's what happens when the animation models are made before the toys, as opposed to normally the toys were made first and then turned into animation models. By Mr. Fluoro Deary, a very talented Filipino guy. No, well, it's not that the toys were finalized, it's they didn't have toys really. Like everything was designed first and the toys were just going to be made afterwards. That's all it was really. Like I mean, the chicken before the egg, like all of those, like I have no joke, like the old animation cell designs for Hot Rod and Rodimus, and it was called Hot Rod and Old Hot Rod, and those were dated late 1984. So they had a lot of time to finish the movie and all the planning and then start doing the toys. Keep in mind, Orion Pax was supposed to be Ultra Magnus's design. They just never used it because they didn't like it. And then they used it as Orion Pax. Well, yeah, they showed it to, I think it was Yoke-san and Takashi and whoever else was working at Takara back in the mid-'80s. And they just had to do their thing. You know, they looked at a design and they went, oh, okay, I guess I'll just figure out how that transforms into that. Like, they just went, oh, okay, you could clearly see that this is the front of the car and everything. And that's why some stuff was hit or miss. That's why we technically maybe just didn't get an RC, because they just felt that they just couldn't do it justice. Or a Unicron. That one really was a difficult one to figure out back then. What other characters don't have consistent transformations? Unicron. He has a lot of different transformations. He only has the one that's been shown pretty much, because they never really showed it ever again in that continuity. I don't know. Some of them, they just happen so fast you don't really pay attention. Hot Rod, you kind of got them drawn out a bit. Like when he's on Quintesson, on the Quintesson planet, like when he got out of the water, and it's like they transform, they drive a little bit, him and Cup, and then they transform again, and they take their time with it. They actually like take their time. They don't just go, you know, like quickly. I'm curious to see what Earth mode at Magnus would look like. I don't know, like, can't be that much different than what we already got from Siege. It's going to be like such a slight tweak. It's going to be like a super, probably like G1 accurate, like toy accurate G1 Ultra Magnus, because it can't be that much more different than what we already got. Do you like Armada Unicron as a character? What character? If you mean that, you know, Sideways and Unicron are one and the same, like that badly dubbed line that was actually incorrect to the script, to the Micron Legend version, he wasn't really a character. He was more of a force of nature in the Unicron trilogy, even though it's technically supposed to be the same character. Box Office Mojo got bought out recently, so they don't give the proper numbers anymore. They used to be honest with their numbers. There's a whole story behind that, Crimson. And also, they probably didn't have those numbers. I will say this. While the Transformer original movie did bomb in theaters, because we do know that as a fact, because it did derail other plans that Sunbow had at the time. Like, look, there was going to be a Gem movie, and they didn't do it because Transformers didn't do well. It was supposed to be a conclusion to the Gem TV series. So that right away says, like, they know that as a fact, so that tells us that the movie didn't do very well. But I guarantee in DVD and movie sales, the movie has more than made up its money back since then. So any investment that they put into that movie has made its money back. It just took like 20 years for some DVDs and VHSs and Blu-rays to come out, pretty much. And then, well, that was that. You know, when you think about like $30 DVDs and how many millions of that first, 2001 Rhino DVD of the 86 movie, and how many millions of those got sold, I'm pretty sure they're good. Let alone the 20th anniversary, the 30th anniversary, all the fancy versions. And that's just the United States, you know, version, not even PAL region or Japanese. Before it was retconned, every Unicron was different continuity, were all the same character. Yep, pretty much. It was all the same Unicron. It was pretty much like he died and then he went to another version. It's like, oh, got killed in 86 movie continuity. Let's go harass everyone in Armada. Oh, died in Armada. Let's go to this universe. Oh, died in this one. And that was also trying to explain why some continuities didn't have Unicron, like Car Robots, when it was, at the time, considered a separate continuity before it was retroactively made part of G1. They just would say because he didn't get there yet. He didn't die and get there yet. You think we will get more Seekers? Yeah, of course. Do you think Hasbro doesn't like printing money? We'll get plenty. Is Sideways the same character in every universe? Yeah, see, same thing. They tried to kind of play that out where Sideways is the same character in every universe, but yeah, I don't think so. You know, and we never really had ways to prove that. Like, look, we had Sideways in Revenge of the Fallen. You know, would you say that was the same character? Not very badass, is he? You know, like every other Sideways. So, and then just over and over, TF the movie sells out because there's even more bonus features and better quality each time. Well, no, it's just the demand too. Like, there's just people that want to own that movie, and I think that nostalgia had a big part with it too. So it just did well, and then the secondary market, you know, balanced. And I think Hasbro is more, well, not Hasbro, but maybe Sunbow and Marvel Productions more than made their money back after all those years of an investment. And Toei. And Toei also, can't leave Toei out of it. And ACOM Studios that helped a little bit with Nelson Shin. Do you think Michael Bay is not being a fan of Transformers before starting the film played a major role in the direction he took? Look, keep in mind, do you think the guys who worked on Beast Wars were Transformer fans? You know, they had to seek out the help of fans from message boards back in the day to kind of do stuff. Look, being a fan helps. You know, Derek Wyatt was a fan of G1. That's why Transformers Animated was so good. But at the same time, it really just has to do where your heart is in it. And I think that Michael Bay, and I've said this 100 times. I've said this forever. Michael Bay would have been better off doing a G.I. Joe movie. I think he would have loved doing a G.I. Joe movie. I don't think Michael Bay loved doing a movie where most of the selling point is stuff he can't even see and direct. Think about it. Imagine you're a director like Michael Bay who's all about his explosions and this and that, and he can't even physically see the robots that he should be directing and stuff. Where if he did a G.I. Joe movie, he'd be able to do all of that. He'd be able to tell the guys what to do. So I don't, and again, I'm not trying to defend Michael Bay, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it was the right movies for him. But that being said, look at all the money he made. Look how it made it mainstream. Look how it worked in the end, and the market that enjoys those movies. So I can't argue with the results. Do I like them personally? They're 6 out of 10s. They're just passable enough, but still not something I'd dedicate an evening to. First movie, yes. But the first movie had a lot of Steven Spielberg's finger in it, too, so. What's your favorite BotCon exclusive box set? Definitely 2011. 2011, 200%. Easily the best year all around. Like, every exclusive was good that year. 2007, easily. 2011, easily. Go out of your way to get that animated box set. Really good. Do you like cats? I grew up with, no joke, because my mom, who's an animal lover, from age 0 to when I finally left my parents' house when I was 2010. So that would be when I was 27. We had over 15 cats and 7 dogs. So do I like cats? Let's just say I didn't have a choice even if I did. They would always be in my bed. I love cats. I love dogs. I love dogs slightly more. I'm more of a dog person. But I like cats too. I'm a big animal lover. I love animals. Anyone who knows me, like, whenever I see a dog, I love dogs. On my Facebook, I always have tons of photos of whenever I visit my parents'. They have so many dogs and cats, and I take photos with them. What do you think you would do with Shatterglass mainline and a cartoon? Well, as you would imagine, I would be kind of retelling the G1 story, but from a twisted angle. And I'd have to obviously write it in a way that you could still have a good rollout of toy lines that fill out 4 deluxes, 4 scouts, 2 Voyagers, 2 leaders, maybe a Titan class at some point. Omega Doom, I guess, would be my Titan class, which is the evil Omega Supreme. Again, you have to. The business brain in me would tackle it from a different way. Who would you pick to direct a new Transformers movie? I don't know. You know what? Writing matters a lot too. Like, you could take like Ridley Scott, you could take James Cameron, you could take Steven Spielberg, but Spielberg has made a lot of really bad movies too because the scripts were bad. And then you could take like really good actors and put them in bad movies too. So it really has to be a marriage of a lot of things. I firmly believe that the first Michael Bay movie, the 2007 one, which actually was very good. It was a decent movie. Part of the reason why I did well because it had a little bit of Steven Spielberg in it. I found that Shia was still a young, I guess not jaded actor at the time, so he had a good time in that movie. Megan Fox wasn't arrogant either. She was a fresh face, so she did a good job. I found that, there was just a good balance of comedy and storytelling. It's a G.I. Joe versus Transformers movie, and it worked. And I think that got lost afterwards. Aaron Archer talked about it on the podcast. The writer's strike had a lot to do with those movies not doing well in terms of not sales, but quality. Where are we at here? Do you think Shattered Glass could ever go mainstream or be promoted more? Well, yeah. But the problem is Hasbro just loves rehashing G1 over and over. For them to put everything on its head almost goes against... The only good thing I could say is Hasbro would not have to worry about those trademarks. They could still do Megatron, they could still do Optimus, they could still do Soundwave. It's just all just the Shattered Glass versions. But I still think that they want to have a red, white, and blue Optimus Prime. That's a good guy always. Jon Favreau would be a good director for a new Transformers movie. Maybe. It's possible. But here's the thing. Who are the actors? Is the script good? You can't just bank on a director saving everything. The director is just going to tell people how to pan the camera and the cinematography, and they only play one part in that. A good script would go a long way. Great actors that have great performances will go a long way too. And of course, it doesn't hurt if the Transformers have actually some screen time too, which would rely on a script. If the script is just, Optimus shows up for 5 seconds and the whole movie is just army guys shooting around, doesn't matter how funny it is or how good it is, it's still not a good Transformer movie. Megan Fox comes back as an older Charlie in Bumblebee. Yeah, I don't think that would happen. You might as well just use the original actress. Especially considering how long it's taking till that next Bumblebee movie. She will be old enough to be a Megan Fox. Why can't they do a whole movie, like the first 10 minutes of the Bumblebee movie? Because, you know what? And I'll tell you why they don't want to do a full CG movie. That's like just set on Cybertron. Because the difference between a Cybertronian-based movie and a live-action movie on Earth is what makes it live-action. Is the robots fighting and then a live-action human character going, oh my god, or whatever. That makes it live-action as opposed to an all-CG movie. You can't call a entire Transformer movie on Cybertron a live-action movie. It's a CG movie because it's going to have CG background, CG robots with dubbing. And why does that matter? Because at the end of the day, and I know this sounds crazy, CG movies, unless they're called Frozen, don't make as much money as live action does in the big budget kind of way. You have the Spider-Man movies, Far From Home and all of those, they do very well. And then they did Into the Spider-Verse, which was animation, and it didn't do as well. And companies pay attention to that. They see how at the end of the day, if it's not live action, there's that part of the audience that still goes, oh, it's a cartoon then. I'm not going to go see that because that's a cartoon and cartoons are for kids. Where when it's live action, all of a sudden they have no problem going to see an Avengers movie, even though they probably would never read a comic book or watch an Avengers cartoon. And it's the same thing. Look at Star Wars. You know, there's so much great Star Wars content that's animation, the Clone Wars stuff and everything, but no one would dare watch that because it's a cartoon. But they'll watch Mandalorian because it's live action, and you hear all about the Mandalorian. But how much do you ever hear about Clone Wars, even though it was absolutely spectacular? So it's just the stigma of the mainstream audience that isn't us, mainstream audience, the non-fans that are the ones that make the big money. We make up 25% of the ticket sales. They make up 75% of the ticket sales. So they have a stigma when it comes to animation. So if you did a only Cybertron Transformers movie, we will love it. We will be happy. But there's going to be a huge number of the box office that's going to be like, oh, so it's just a cartoon then? I don't want to see that. You know, and the studios, they care about the bottom line. So that's very important, you got to understand. Well, yeah, bringing in John Cena. You know, bringing in names, you know, that says a lot. Like if you have, like, you know, I'll go back to Star Wars again. If you have confidence in your writing and storytelling and everything, you could bring in no names and tell a great movie. When you have to bring in names, it's because you're trying to carry a movie based on those names. You know? They didn't have to bring in John, and I have nothing against John Cena. I love John Cena, but they didn't have to bring in John Cena. But they did, because they needed to have a name to carry that movie. They needed to have, you know, Haley Steinfeld, who's like did very little, so she's kind of a no-name. But, you know, Haley Steinfeld, John Cena. He probably was in the middle, even though Haley was on the left, you know? Again, that's just how it is. It's the unfortunate way how the mass audience consumes that kind of content. They don't have a liking for it in general. Think about, I'll give an example to anyone that's listening. Think about anyone in your family or friends that didn't give a hoot about Transformers, didn't care at all, but they saw those Bay movies. Think about how many people you know in your life that didn't care about any of that Transformer stuff, but they saw the Bay movies. And that says everything, because they were willing to do it for live action, but not for comic books or animation, which up to that point was exclusively for Transformers, comic books and animation. Then the live action movie came out, and all of a sudden people that didn't care about Transformers started caring about Transformers, or at least gave it a chance, you know? As much as I loathe the Bayverse, even I can admit that they brought a Transformers to a new generation. Of course! 200%. It's what I always say. It was a means to an ends. That's all it was. Is that you could say what you want about the Michael Bay movies, if you like them or hate them, but the one thing that it did was it took that mass audience, that 75% that isn't us, and brought them to that world. And it made Transformers more famous than it ever was. I always say, 1985 was the G1 peak. That's when Transformers was a household name in 1985, where anything that transformed was called a Transformer, because it literally became a brand word because of that, like how Kleenex from tissue paper or Band-Aid from, you know, bandages. Like Transformers just became a name. Just like how, like, when it was a portable system back in the day, it was called a Game Boy. So Transformers became that. And then in 1997 with Beast Wars, it was popular again. Not as popular as 1985. 1985 was like here, and Beast Wars was like here. It wasn't there, but it still was doing good compared to some other years. And then the final peak was 2009 with Revenge of the Fallen. It became massive. And it was bigger than it ever was. Ever. Transformers became bigger than it ever was in China. Bigger than it ever was in Italy. Bigger than it ever was in any other world. There you go. Mega made from Spaceballs. You know? It became pop culture. And again, Spaceballs came out around that time when Transformers was on television. A little late for Star Wars, but early enough for Transformers. What Why is G1 called G1 in the first place? Well, that's an easy answer. It was never called G1 originally, but when they did Generation 2, the TV show and the comic books and the toy line, well then, retroactively, what was the thing that came before? Generation 1. No one called World War I World War I. It was only when World War II happened, then they went, oh, okay, I guess that's World War I then. So it's the same thing. And the first time the term Generation 1 was ever coined was actually by a Japanese PVC company. We were calling it G1 within the fans. Like, it was called G1 by the fans forever. But the first time officially it was called Generation 1 was when the Mega PVC line, oh my God, it's going to be so hard to see because of the lighting. But when that PVC line happened, I had the whole PVC line here. Let me try that. You can barely see them. They're over there, that whole line. They were called the Heroes of Cybertron line or whatever was there. When that line came out in Japan, they called it Generation 1. And that was the first time it was officially coined. Yeah, there you go. World War I was originally called the Great War until World War II. So that's just it. Yeah, see, what is Generation 3 then? Technically would be Beast Wars. Technically Beast Wars would be Generation 3. Technically, the Unicron trilogy would be Generation 4. Technically, the movie-verse stuff and animated would be Generation 5. Technically. Why is Shawn Michaels overall better than Bret Hart? Bret Hart is way better than Shawn Michaels. I will say that 200%. Shawn Michaels is a good wrestler. He's good on the mic. But he got where he got in that industry by ways that me and you would not normally have to do with Vince McMahon to get where he is. Let's put it this way. Google Legion of Doom, shoot Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and you'll know what I mean. Who asked a good question? What did he ask? I must have missed it. There's so many that are zooming by. Sorry. Well, here's the thing. Robots in Disguise, when it was originally Car Robots in 2000, it was supposed to be its own continuity. And then it got retroactively put into G1. And it actually happens in the year 2000. There's a manga called Battle of the Stargate, I think it's called. I have it up there. And it's like between season 2 and season 3, but before the 86 movie but after Scramble City. That's when it happened. In the year 2000, but before 2005, you know? Shawn Michaels would have been dead. Shawn Michaels would have been found on the side of the road, and we would have never heard of the showstopper. Oh, there's Aaron Archer. Aaron Archer's here. Are we going to call alternators Generation 8? No, Aaron. Alternators was a subline, didn't have any fiction with it. Alternators would have been lumped in with the Unicron trilogy. Would have been lumped into that stuff. Question was, hey Protoman, my dad is a big fan of Transformers G1. What figure should I get him? Well, who was his favorite character? We'll start there. Was he a 1984 and 1985 guy? Meaning pretty much what 90% of G1 fans grew up with. G1 was around for 8 years, but everyone always talks about 84, 85, and a little bit of 86, So, but if he was a kid who grew up with Power Masters or Headmasters, well, then you got to go with something else. I grew up on G1, but I was Micromasters and 86 stuff. So Car Robots is 1.5. Well, Car Robots is 1.5, G1.5 now. But back then, it was probably considered lumped in with the Beast Wars stuff at the time. Had Beast Wars toys. It was kind of mixed in that world. Again, it's complicated when you talk about the timeline today. Hasbro needed a filler, so they got with yeah. Aaron knows that story. Aaron's right here. He could tell that whole story with Car Robots and Robots in Disguise. Here's an interesting thought. What if alternators had been used for the Bayverse designs? That would have been crazy. Well, I don't think Michael Bay would have been keen on using a 2005 Subaru Impreza, considering he likes his American muscle cars. And even the Corvette that they were using at the time was dated. I believe that was a 2004 Corvette, if I remember correctly. So, he would have wanted to use all new stuff. And again, that would have been deals that he could have hedged with the car companies, and then those car companies could have given him all those extra cars that he could use to then use for his explosions. So it wouldn't have happened. Hasbro counted each series as an era. Well, there you go. There's the official answer. What if RC Sisters never died in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen? They wouldn't have gotten used anyway because they probably wouldn't have had toys. If they have toys, they'll be in the movie. If they don't have toys, they won't be in the movie. My dad's favorite character is Grimlock and all the Dinobots. Well, if he has those characters, a G1 Dinobot doesn't go for too much now, and considering how many options you have, if you're not looking at just the 1985 Dinobot, 1985 Grimlock, you have so many options of Grimlocks to buy. Simon Furman loves Grimlock too much. He loves Grimlock and he loves Jetfire. Those are his two favorite characters. And he milks them to death. Okay. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Jack. We're going to call it a night in about 20 minutes, guys. So if you have any questions, super chats, or anything, throw them in before we call it a day. What's the deal with the plane with the Autobot log in the movie? What are you talking about? You're talking about Stratosphere from Revenge of the Fallen? Well, technically Stratosphere. Which character has the most stories written by one author? Well, probably Optimus Prime and probably Bob, I would have to say. So I'm going to go with that. Because Bob wrote, I want to say 58 issues of G1. And most of them had Optimus Prime at the helm. Not all of them, but most of them. As opposed to, let's say, G1 episodes, which didn't have Optimus Prime at the helm because Season 1 and 2 was only, I want to say, 50... Oh, God, I want to say 51 episodes because there was 1 or 2 episodes that didn't have Optimus Prime in them at all. So I'd have to go with Bob Bugansky and the Marvel Comics. Because I know even like when you look at, let's say, like, you know, James Roberts, like, he didn't write 52 issues of Mortal Meets the Eye. Like, you know, and there's not one focused character in that. It's like a little bit of Rodimus, then a little bit of this, then a little bit of that. Jetfire was the leader of the Autobots in the Italian version. Yeah, and he actually had, and there's a comic that has him in his toy scheme, his Valkyrie toy scheme. In your opinion, what is the most influential new character created during Beast Wars that is relevant still today? Well, I can't deny that Black Arachnia is the one that still reverberates still to this very day. She was a new concept created. I mean, look, Cheetor is another one too. Cheetor was the most popular Beast Wars character sales-wise and with kids. But Black Arachnia also is another one that still kind of finds herself into... Because, like, Cheetor somehow didn't get into animated, but Black Arachnia did. There was even a Black Arachnia toy in Cyberverse. Even though Cheetor was in Cyberverse, there still was a Black Arachnia in Cyberverse, too. Black Arachnia was in the Creos line. She has a masterpiece. You know... She's very influential, but she was also the first ever retail female Transformer toy in the West. Minerva gets that in Japan. So she was important in a lot of different ways. I mean, there's a lot of great characters. I mean, she's not even my favorite character in Beast Wars. I love Dinobot and a few others, like Beast Wars Megatron always wins over with me. But I can't deny Black Arachnia as an original character and how much she changed the scope in a lot of ways. Shame we haven't gotten a proper monster truck transformer. Oh, no, that's not true. We got this bad boy right here from the Cybertron line. Yeah, we got a few cool monster truck transformers. Who else? We got, what was his name? I think it was Mudslinger, who was the Micromaster monster truck transformer. He was the blue and orange one. There's quite a few. Hey, even Armada Optimus Prime was supposed to be a monster truck at one point when he was Monster Convoy. Aaron could tell you about that one too. Aaron could tell you about a lot of things. What if Optimus Prime never died in the original 1986 movie? Then it would have been the script that was originally written by Ron Freeman, where he merges with Cybertron and becomes a giant transforming Cybertron like Primus. That was the original idea. He didn't die. He just upgraded. There you go. Ray saying exactly what I just said about Armada Optimus Prime. Sentinel Prime in animated was was not really a monster truck. He was a snow truck, as I like to put it. He was just like a pickup truck with a snowplow in the front, which I always found hilarious as a Canadian, because you see those all the time in winter. Back during G1, there were toys sold in Europe and Japan. They were made at the same factories or just packaged in their respective boxes. Yeah, well, there's packaging factories, and then there is the factories that manufacture the products. A lot of Transformers, let me just pull one up here, are made near my, even written on this one. Jeez, the writing is so small. Okay, bad example. It's not going to show up on the camera. You have Longueuil, Quebec, which is the packaging facility for Transformer products. And that's for everywhere in the West. Hey, Protoman, what is your favorite non-Beast Wars or G1 character? Nitro Convoy from Galaxy Force probably is number one. I really like Exilion from Galaxy Force. Hotshot was fun in Unicron Trilogy. Scavenger was cool. Sideways was cool in Armada. Tidal Wave was cool. When we look at Energon, aka Superlink, we have Rodimus in that one. He was kind of cool. A lot of good characters. And not to mention, like, if you're saying like non-G1, non-Beast Wars, does that count animated? Because animated was stellar. You know? There's a lot of stuff. Back to women. Back in the day, Ava Green or Jessica Alba. Need to choose. Well, as sexist as it's going to sound, I need to see how both their bodies look in comparison. Because I have to know what I'm going to be dealing with in the long term. I'm going to go with Jessica Alba. Ava Green looks like she probably ages like milk. There's your answer. Jessica Alba looks like she ages a lot better. I'm going to go with that. What an odd stream froze up on me. Oh, did it freeze up, bro? Are we having connection problems? Oh, that's weird. Did it freeze up? Yeah, yes, no. No one's canceling me. People have already tried. Trust me. People have already tried. And they failed. You can't cancel someone who doesn't care. Victoria, what did you ask? Sorry. Oh, hold on. I think I see it. One sec. Sorry, Victoria, because everything moves quickly. I think it was a mini-bot question I saw, right? Which mini-bot do you want to see in Kingdom? I want to see Brawn and Outback. Those are like always my two go-to mini-bots. I love Brawn and I love Outback. I don't know why. I just have fond memories of those characters. I really do. I love Outback. He's just so weird. Little Australian, Transformer character. Those guys are cool. But I like Beachcomber. Beachcomber's cool. I love the Golden Lagoon episode. I love Cliff Jumper. I love mini-bots. Mini-bots have always been a personal favorite of mine. This is the no canceled zone. But yeah, it'd probably be Brawn and Outback, be tie. I maybe leaning more towards Brawn, but I like Outback a lot too. Those are two cool guys. I always go out of my way. Like when there's a new Outback figure, I always go out of my way to get it. Just because I like that so much. Thoughts on Windblade as a character? Well, the problem with Windblade as a character, she's not consistent across the version. She was very different when she was in the Sarah Stone books with IDW, as opposed to how she was in Robots in Disguise 2015, as how she was in Cyberverse. They're almost like three different characters. So, and not to mention how she was in the Machinima stuff too. So she's kind of all over the place. It's kind of like comparing Black Arachnia in her different iterations, like animated Black Arachnia, and if you count, like, let's say Arachnid as a Black Arachnia character, you like very different versions. And I feel the same with Windblade. I like Windblade how she is in Cyberverse. I think that's probably my favorite version, only because I wasn't really a big fan of Windblade in the IDW comics. Like, she kind of was like there with her miniseries and it was okay, but then she really got shuffled to the side, I find, in terms of character development. Like, RC really got that focus more in terms of the female characters. Yeah, and she's fictionally young too, I guess, but I mean, so is like a Bulkhead. But people really know what is a Bulkhead character, you know? Like, I think, like, you know, Windblade came out maybe like only a couple of years after Bulkhead made his fictional debut in 1980, you know, excuse me, in 2008, 2009 with animated. It's more just, you know, there's a lot of different versions, and we can't lump all those versions into one character. So, and all the versions that exist, you have to really look at them individually. Mini-bot Combiner. I've seen a few fan examples of that. If Netflix Earthrise had more episodes, do you think the Galactic Odyssey collection could make a good 5 more episodes? Nah, they're just going to use the same 7 molds over and over. That was my fear that I saw. Like, look at the trailer. And I talked about this in my segment about this. Like, if you look at the trailer, we got Exhaust, which is just a Wheeljack. They just took the Wheeljack mold and there you go. They didn't even change it that much. We got Bug Bite, took that Bumblebee mold, didn't even really change it. We got the Conehead Seekers, which they just took Starscream and they repainted each other. They didn't even make them unique amongst each other. I don't know. I think they're going to make it on the cheap again. I really do. I don't think even a Galactic Odyssey collection, you know, it's like, yeah, maybe they'll do a evil Ratchet because it's cheaper to do an evil Ratchet because they have that design already. But I don't know. I don't want to hate what Siege did, but I watch it objectively and I see where the corners were cut, where the voice acting was like, you could clearly tell the actors weren't in the studio together, so the genuineness of the interactions are kind of meh. And I went back and watched it in Japanese just to like get a different feel for it. The only thing that sucks is the subtitles for the Japanese version are just the closed captioning for the English version. So it sucks because we don't have a true Japanese translation with subtitles of the Japanese version. I'd like to actually see if someone would do that in the future. There was only 2 differences that I noticed, and it wasn't in the subtitles just because I was listening in Japanese phonetically. They called Velocitron, they called it Speedia in the Japanese version. They didn't put it in the subtitles. They still called it Velocitron, but I heard them say Speedia in the voice. It was in the first episode. And I think there was another reference. They called a character something else, and that was it. I forget what it was. I mentioned it on my Twitter when I first watched it. I was like kind of logging what was different. Which question did I miss now, Victoria? I can't see them all. And by the way, there's a bit of a delay also in the stream, so I might not see it right away. Is there a collaborative figure you want to see? Well, I feel like Power Rangers is going to happen. It's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when, you know? Keep talking, Protoman. You're the only thing holding this party together. Imagine multiple people dressed in crazy costumes staring at your face. Maybe this party is lame. No, it's amazing. Okay, well, you have other people watching with me. What was I saying? But yeah, I would see Power Rangers. That's probably the one that makes the most sense. Protoman, before I forget, thanks for tonight's live stream. No problem, Michael. Thanks for coming again, and thanks for being part of the membership tier. If you notice, Michael has a little logo next to his name. It's a little Rodimus. You get different evolutions of that. You hit that join button. It's at the bottom here for anyone who's interested in being part of everything. And thanks again for Symbiote Studios for sponsoring everything with Hasbro. Again, symbiotestudios.com. Go to them, get the hookup, cool stuff, bang bang, you know. Power Ranger TF crossover. Find inactive combiners. Oh, I did a huge segment on the podcast talking about my concept of how a Power Rangers Transformers crossover could work. They could steal it if they want. Actually, the English dub is one of the worst of the whole show. I watched the Spanish to hear normal. Well, again, I'm just not a fan of the quality of the voice acting from that one personally. But again, that's their choice. Ramrod from Saber Rider and Star Sheriffs. Ooh, I haven't heard that in years. I love that show. Didn't get any of those toys over here. They were only available in Japan. Bismarck, I think it was called. Bismarck. Do you think Hasbro will restock Pulse exclusives? Well, we saw some already. If the demand is there. Favorite combiner? Ooh, that's a tough one. I really like Defensor. I like my combiners to have uniqueness. Some people that are like, oh, I like my combiner when it has a uniform kind of thing where everyone is jets, everyone is cars. Me, I like the difference. I like it when a combiner has different alt modes. So Defensor was cool because as a kid, you kind of get a little bit of everything. You get a ambulance, you get a police car, you get a motorcycle, you get a fire truck, and that fire truck turns into a repair bay too with hotspot. You know, you get a helicopter. So I liked that a lot. But on the flip side of it, where it totally counters what I just said, I also love the character of Road Caesar and the Brainmasters, and they turned into 3 sports cars. But I like the idea of Road Caesar. I like the characters individually, Blacker, Laster, and Braver. So they're really cool too. But they're in a lot of ways, they're kind of like the Car Brothers from Robots in Disguise, Car Robots, where they're really almost secondary characters too, where most of the time combiners rarely get a chance to shine in fiction. They're kind of always on the side. I love Brave series combiners, but they suffer from the same thing I just said. They're usually side characters. You know, what do you call it? Choryu and Enryu and all that from like Gal Geiger or Godmax from all the other Yusha stuff. And what was his name there? Oh my God, I'm blanking. Something Buffalo from. Oh man, you're making me on the spot now. I'm actually like locking up. But yeah, like I love like Yusha combiners because they always tried to be a little different. Remember, but Saber Rider came on when I would stay with my dad in Atlanta. I didn't have enough channels in Charleston when the show. Man, Saber Riders! What an amazing theme song! Bow, bow, bow. Transformers and Speed Racer. Just take that blur mold from animated, just paint it up, get a blur Mach 5. I would love that though. I would love that. But here's the thing: there actually is Speed Racer Transformers. They're just bootlegs. I own them. There is a company of bootleggers. They took the molds, like the molds from the Speed Racer movie, and they turned them into transforming toys. And my friend found them in a store in Toronto and contacted me. He's like, bro, do you want these? I'm like, buy them all. And they look really cool. I think I showed it on a stream a while back. I want to say that I did. I have to look it up. I have to look up if I did. Would you like a Last Stand of the Wreckers series on Netflix? That would be cool. That would be cool. But here's the thing. I would like it if it was actually 2D animation, because I don't think the way that these CG series are being done, that a Last Stand of the Wreckers would be done credit. I think that the CG would be very limited. They wouldn't put enough characters. So I think that a good traditional cell 2D animated, and not like Flash animation like a lot of stuff is done today, a good 2D animated Last Stand of the Wreckers would be cool as a cell-based series. Hell, make it anime. Just do anime then even. I'll settle for that. You know? Just like they did with the Castlevania series or something. New Trailbreaker alt mode reminds me of the Sledgehammer from Mask. Nice. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Does look like him a little bit. Let's get more Mask repaints. Like I said, take that hyperdrive. Take Hyperdrive's mold from the Micromaster and turn it into the Thunderhawk. And give me some more Micromaster mask figures. Voice acting probably wouldn't do the characters justice. Again, that's just it. The Netflix doesn't have a union for the voice actors, so right away you're not going to get all those famous voice actors that you love. That's the first thing you have to understand. So if you were reading Last Stand of the Wreckers and hearing any of those Beast Wars, Ocean Group voice actors, or hearing any of those G1 voice actors in your head, they can't be there because Netflix doesn't have a voice actor union. So keep that in mind. So if you enjoy Netflix exclusive stuff, you're not going to have that, though. Peter Cullen talked about that. I think it was the Texas Comic-Con panel with Frank. They talked about that. And it's very true. But the next Netflix series is an anime. Technically an anime. An anime in the Japanese sense. In the Japanese sense. Show me a human character. If it has eyes like this, then I'll believe it. Favorite Prime from the original 13? Probably the Fallen. Just because he's the most fleshed out. I guess. I don't know. I'd have to learn more about the others before I make that call. I really liked Pat Lee's Fallen in War Within. That was kind of a cool character, and I love that toy, like the original Titanium. So. My brother says you look kind because of your face. Your brother doesn't know anything. I'm a horrible human being. No, I'm just joking. No. Thank you. I guess I'm kind. I'm kind of boring. Guys, we're going to call it a night soon. We're past 11. And you should all change your alarm clocks. We have daylight savings time coming up. Well, all the titanium 6 inches were kind of flawed a little bit, unfortunately. Damn, the keyboard changed his polarity again. Any idea for a Takara Gen Selects figure? What would you want to see? Anything from Master Force or Victory? Give me a repaint of the Mirage from Siege into Road King from Master Force. New head sculpt. You have to give me a new head sculpt. So you know what? Change the spoiler too. Do a different Formula One. Yeah, it's 11 already, and it's soon. Are we going back or forward? Does anyone know that? The phone's going to do it automatically, but I don't know if I'm losing time or gaining time. But yeah, more or less, we are done, my friends. All my people, more or less. But yeah, it's been fun. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. We topped out at like 104 people at one point. That was pretty good. Thanks again for all the guests that came by. But yeah, this was awesome stuff. We got to celebrate Halloween in a little bit of a different way, I guess. I'm on Eastern Standard Time right now. I'm a East Coast guy. You West Coast guys have the better weather. We get to just have the time first, I guess. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, for coming. It's been real fun. And again, as always, like I always say, thanks again. Be sure to check out the Patreon. Check out the join button. Support the podcast. Check us out. Do anything you can to help us out here so we could keep doing this daily, whether it be just segments or the streams. Give me a reason to bust this stuff out every time. But I hope you all had a great time. And as always, like I always say, roll out.